Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back with another Legacy League, and we are playing Bant Beanstalk. That's right, just Bant. It's not the domain Beanstalk that plays all 5 land types so that it can use Leyline Binding. We're not using Leyline Binding here. We are just using almost all blue and white and just a splash of green for these 4 Beanstalks and 1 Life from the Loam. Let's talk about the deck. So the deck is incredibly controlling. It's got 4 plows, 3 prismatic endings. It's got 3 terminuses so that we can just keep the board clear. We've got a 5th force and Force of Negation. And we basically just want to lock them out with Narset, with Teferi, and then eventually we want to win with Jace the Mind Sculptor or Entreat the Angels. Now, note that several of these cards also trigger Beanstalk. So we do have quite a few ways to trigger Beanstalk between Entreat, Terminus, Lorien Revealed, Force. So I do think it's going to be a good permanent, and it will distract our opponents and add to the sense of dread and oppression as we gradually pull ahead of them in this game. We also have Tamiyo as our sole creature. Of course, she flips over into a Planeswalker, and when she's in Planeswalker form, she is not affected by any of our sweepers, our terminuses, or our Wrath of the Skies in the sideboard. So let's talk about the sideboard. Containment Priest, very good card to bring in against Nadu, and because they're constantly searching their library, and it's very good against Rescaminator or Blue-Black Reanimator, as it's now called because Grief is not around anymore. Lavinia, also very good. Anti-combo card, anti-control mirror card. We've got some carpets. We've got Ground Seal, which is basically the best card you can play against Reanimator strategies. If you have time to cast it, it just completely shuts them off. Now, note that this does clash with Life from the Loam, and we are going to want to board out Life from the Loam when we put Ground Seal into our deck. We also, of course, have Consigned to Memory and Harbinger of Seas as further respect for Eldrazi, but I do think that our Eldrazi matchup should be favorable in theory because we have these 3 terminuses. The main thing I'm concerned about with this deck is that we only have 2 win conditions. Entreat the Angels is a very slow win condition, but it's a pretty good one, and we can get it back with Mystic Sanctuary if we need to go a second time. And Jace is a win con that you really have to defend, and it takes a lot of turns to win. And you've probably seen on this channel that when my opponents do like a Jace strategy, I make them do it because I know it's going to take like 10 turns to win, and it's going to eat a lot of their clock. So there may very well be people who are forcing us to do that, and that's totally fair and that's totally reasonable considering how slow this win con is. But I am hoping that a lot of people just move on with their lives and hit the concede button rather than wait for me to Jace Ultimate them. Even after you Jace Ultimate them, you still have to wait like 7 turns usually because they've just accumulated a bunch of cards from F6ing. Okay, so this should be fun. This is not my style of deck. This is way out of my comfort zone. This is based off of a deck by my friend Randy, who plays up at Boardwalk Games, which is a card shop here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And Randy always plays this kind of like Beanstalk control. He splashes red and he plays 4th Aerolingus, but I don't think 4th Aerolingus is particularly well positioned right now because giving your opponents the Monarchy, if you watched my video from yesterday, somebody gave me the Monarchy and I just ran away with the game. And, you know, Bowmasters is so strong against Monarchy strategies. And I'm sorry, I keep saying Monarchy. It's pronounced Monarch. To those of you who suffered through me saying Monarchy instead of Monarch like 10 times yesterday, my apologies. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Should be fun. As always, we're going to play a full League of 5 matches, and we're not going to get salty. We're going to stay eyes open. We're going to see the misplays we're making, and we're going to improve. And you can help. Just leave a comment with a timestamp if you see me make what you think is a misplay, and help me get better, help everybody else reading the comments getting better. Getting better is the name of the game. See you in round 1. All right, we are up against a likely combo player in round 1. I don't think we keep this. They've played Omnitel. They've played Beseech Storm. Sorry. We're definitely mulliganing this. This is probably also a mulligan, assuming they're on something like that. But I think we could just put back the Terminus because if they are on something that's not, let's take a look at their listing. So they have played Stifle Knot, for example, Sneak and Breach. They play a wide variety of decks, which I applaud. So yeah, I don't think we put this back. I think I'm just going to put back the Terminus and keep a kind of a broad range of interaction here. This is a 4-lander, but Terminus does us nothing. Oh, they're going to 4 cards. Okay, well, we probably should have mulliganed again. We may just get lucky here if they go deep enough. Vexing Bauble. Okay, so I think they're likely on Ruby Storm here. All right. So this Brainstorm can completely change the texture of our hand. I like it. Here's what I think we do. I think we go ahead and play out the Misty, and we hope that they don't go off like crazy here. Get a little more information. We can shuffle back this Hedge Maze. We have the ability to fetch an island if we need to, if they have a Blood Moon effect. Okay. What is this? Okay, let's read this card. When Rebirth Engine enters, exile all other cards from your graveyard. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Put a card exiled with it into the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. Okay, so I think this is the Through the Breach type deck, which is scary, but fortunately, Plow does interact with this, assuming that the card revealed is not Emrakul. Okay, that's fine. I can't counter that. They did go to like Hellbent to do that. So we'll see what they exile here. I think the correct play, considering how little I have going on in my hand, is to just wait and Brainstorm. Maximize my Brainstorm. This is a 3-drop, so I can potentially Prismatic End it. All right, this is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my... I don't care about green at all, really, but I will keep the Savannah around. I'm going to get an island just in case they like rip a Blood Moon. Maybe that's like too squeamish here. Okay, so let's Brainstorm here. Let's see if we can find some good stuff. We did find the Prismatic Ending we need. That's great. So I'm going to put this back. I think I can put... I mean, just in case they rip like some sort of like Urza Saga or something, that'd be good. Because they do have 2 artifacts already out. I don't know if their deck would play Urza Saga. Okay. I think we can put this back and we can fetch it. All right. And I'm just going to play this out and I'm going to pass. Again, like I've never played this deck before, so pardon me if I seem like super duper indecisive. Okay. They did put in the Traxa under there. They don't have the mana to get a Traxa. Yeah, we really need to exile that. So let's just hope that they don't find Ancient Tomb or City of Traders. Otherwise, we're going to get a Traxa. They found it. Okay. Well, here comes a Traxa. It gains haste until end of turn. Yeah. I think we don't have a choice here. Let's see what they flip. We're getting to see more of their deck anyway. Trinisphere. Sneak Attack is potentially scary. Vexing Bauble. Through the Breach is a scary card. Yeah, I think they're like a dedicated like cheat fatty into play and hope it kills them. So I don't think I plow here just because I don't care about them gaining a bunch of life and I can just take the damage. Let's see, what did they keep here? They kept Ancient Tomb, Sneak Attack, Simian Spirit Guide, Trinisphere, Through the Breach. Okay, they didn't keep a creature, which is good. I guess they didn't get a creature. Okay, so let's go ahead and update this real quick. So they have Simian Spirit Guide, Through the Breach. They kept Ancient Tomb. They did keep the Trinisphere. Okay, so they took those cards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All in all, not bad. So we'll just take this because it dies at the end of the turn, right? It gains haste until end of turn. Oh, it doesn't get exiled. Okay, well then in that case, I am going to plow it. All right, we got our planes, and we are plowing. So they now have tons of life. They don't have a creature in hand. We can't deal with Sneak Attack. They do have an Ancient Tomb. There's no point in wasting them, sadly. I think we just get rid of this. The other option, of course, is to... Yeah, going after the mana is not going to accomplish anything here. Let's see what we draw. I could wait a turn cycle on Okay, here's my thinking. I can wait a turn cycle on exiling this because they have to tap it to exile something. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think I will just play this out with the anticipation of brain surging when I have a little more information about their deck. And then this way I have Source of Plowshares up in case of an absolute emergency. The other alternative, of course, was that I just Prismatic end this so that I could... here comes the sneak attack, most likely. Trinisphere is fine. That doesn't really do anything to my deck. Oh, yes. Thank you for doing that. So they feel safe, but they are not safe. Well, I mean, they're pretty safe, actually. Like, it's going to take several turns for me to do anything here. But I am going to Brain Surge. It's card positive. I think we can safely... Ooh. I'm not going to reveal that. Okay, so we do have Brainstorm up. So if we get rid of the Trinisphere, then we can force the sneak attack. I'm going to put this back for sure. And are there any cards? Yeah, this, unfortunately, we could only create one Angel, which is not going to be enough here. I'm going to put both of these back. I guess we're going to redraw both of these. Or we'll redraw one of them. Yeah, I'll redraw the Wasteland. Maybe it was a mistake to put the Entreat 2 down because I could have just brainstormed it back later and used it. All right, options. Wasting their city doesn't matter, so that's not an option. I think we do need to fetch away the Entreat. It's just not what we're looking for right now. We can hit the Trinisphere. I think that's the play here. They're going to get another crack at this. The other option, of course, is we just ignore the Trinisphere. Yeah, I think it's fine to do this. This shuts off their ability. Next turn, we can just hold up Force. And pretty soon, we'll have enough mana that we don't even care. All right. I'm going to pass. So we are naked here. They can do a lot of stuff. They can sneak attack here, and we can't do anything about it. And they have lots of mana. Seething Song. Okay. We're probably dead. They've got 5 mana, 6 mana, so they can do 2 things here. I think most likely but they have to have a creature for through the reach. Okay, there's a sneak attack, which I can't interact with, unfortunately. All right, this does 15 damage, and then it does even more damage. When, yeah, that's actually like pretty damn near lethal. Let's see. We'll go to 1. We can't fetch our Flooded Strand anymore. Yeah, I'm just going to concede because I want to save time for games 2 and hopefully game 3. I do think that maybe hitting Trinisphere was better there just so we'd have Force up. But then I'm worried that they're going to just be able to inexpensively search their library because I didn't know whether they had a creature. They didn't get a creature off of Traxa. All right, so changes. I think, first of all, Terminus is pretty mediocre here. We can probably take it out. Hydroblast can come in. Wrath can definitely come in. Containment Priest is a most definite. I think Consign's not the worst. Force Negation comes in. Lavinia can come in because they're cheating on mana. All right, other cards we can take out. I think Prismatic Ending stays. Narset is not going to matter here. It's just going to dig for cards. They don't seem to have any card draw in their deck. Not that I observed there. I do like Teferi, though, because it can, screw up their interaction and bounce stuff. We can't take out any of our win conditions. We could take out a Plow. It's just like very reactive. But I do like the Prismatic Endings, so I'm gonna submit this. And Wastelock is not like out of the realm of possibility. They are playing a lot of soul lands, but I would definitely say, like, if I hadn't already submitted, I would consider taking out the Life from the Loam. I mean, this does stop Vexing Bauble, and it potentially draws us into more action. They're generally not a turn 1 deck. They're like a turn 2 or turn 3 deck. I think we keep this. All right, I'm going to play this out, and I can go fetch a I can fetch a surveil land here if they don't do anything. They put some must counter card on the stack. I can Brainstorm Force. It's worth noting that World Spire worm or whatever it was, that does get hit pretty hard by Plow. Okay, there's the Vexing Bauble. That's fine. I am going to most definitely exile that next turn. Even if they can just draw a card, it'll cost them the Lotus Petal to do so. All right, let's get some Surveil action here. I would love to find up the Beanstalk or some sort of engine card. A Tamiyo would be great. Dodge that. All right. So I think that's a bummer that we drew that. I think I'm just going to play this out. And I'm going to go ahead and attempt to hit their Bauble. I don't think they're going to do anything. Oh, they are. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we have Brainstorm up. I'd love to Brainstorm away the Mystic Sanctuary, but I don't want to Brainstorm unless it's an emergency. Defense Grid is fine because I can just exile that next turn too. I am concerned about the fact that they're probably a Blood Moon deck. All right. I'm going to go white, blue, ending. And hopefully this discourages them a little bit from trying to go off. We do have Brainstorm into Entreat if we need like a single angel. It's not going to do a lot though. Okay. Do they have Through the Breach? Through the Breach. All right. I am going to have to hit a counterspell here. We didn't hit a counterspell. I think we're probably pretty screwed. We'll see what comes out of this. I'm going to put this back. This is definitely... Actually, it makes sense to put back the Entreat. Because then at least we can potentially miracle it out and have some interaction. Yeah. And next turn, I do have the option of shuffling it away. Yeah, that's going to resolve. How bad is it? Okay, it's a Traxa. Yeah, it's not good. Let's take a look at what they get here. They don't have they have Emrakul. They have the Fatty. And they do have a Sneak Attack. And they do have the mana to put Sneak Attack into play next turn. And they can exile their Simian. Well, they'll have enough mana. Yeah, we're totally screwed. We know the top two cards of our deck are not helpful. I think what we have to do is probably upkeep Lorien Revealed to get rid of the bad cards on top of our deck. And then hopefully find... If they get Defense Grid out first, then we don't even have any interaction on that front. If they are able to get... Well, we'll see what they keep. I think likely they're going to keep Emrakul, though, which just ends the game. Okay, they kept Emrakul, Sneak Attack, City of Traders, Defense Grid. Oh, I accidentally deleted the... but note that the City of Traders is still in there. Okay. They've got Boku to mana. We're taking 7 here. Not playing Days is just brutal because they know we're not playing Days and they can just go balls to the wall. All right, I'm going to start by cycling just to maximize our looks at something that will potentially be good here. Let's get a Tundra at this point. Actually, I'll get an island just in case the game goes long. Another land, not what we wanted to see. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by brainstorming here. Well, actually, okay. I do think it's worth flipping Tamiyo. As lame as that may sound, the only card that's going to do it is going to be a force effect. We could play Tamiyo. We could flip Tamiyo. Then we just need to find a blue card and a force in our top. Is that better than just brainstorming naked and leaving Tamiyo in our hand? Technically, we leave Tamiyo in our hand, then we have a blue card already. We're going to definitely put back 2 of these lands. We'll keep anything that's not land, basically. And then I'm going to have the Flooded Strand to fetch away whatever we find. Because they have the City of Traders, hitting Ancient Tomb is not going to be enough. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and do this. Yeah, I'm going to play to win. I'm not going to play to not lose. Because I think the base state here is we lost. Okay, this is great. We don't have the mana to play Lavinia this turn, but we do have a Force Negation and a Ponder. So I'll put these 2 cards back. Tamiyo flips. I mean, when I say this is great, this is like the best we could hope for, given our circumstances. If we can get this Lavinia into play, it's going to be a really big deal. Yeah, I'll just pass. So if they lead with Defense Grid, then they'll also need enough mana to get Sneak Attack out, and they'll need enough mana to activate Sneak Attack. If they lead with Defense Grid, though, I will let it resolve. Yeah, I think it's better to let that resolve than to live in a world where we don't have... So they put the mountain. Okay, this is not the worst. We can deal with this. It's possible that this whiffs. And I am going to probably, if I find a wasteland, I probably will waste the Ancient Tomb here. Okay. So, I mean, they've got a lot going on. I don't think we can safely... We can regrow Prismatic Ending and we can hit the Defense Grid. And we can play Lavinia. I think that's what we do this turn. All right, so we'll get a basic here because our deck can really pretty well function on basics. Okay, the important thing is we have 2 white sources. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and minus here. Get Prismatic Ending. Oh, how do they already have this under there? It's just put a card exile with... I guess I don't understand how this is exiled with that. Let me read this. All creature... Oh, okay. So we do have to hit this. And if we hit that, then we're not going to be able to stop the sneak attack. And they are going to be able to sneak attack Emrakul next turn. Yeah, we're screwed, unfortunately. Them being able to put Emrakul into play... or Atraxa into play is the end of the game for us. I'm trying to think if there's anything we could do. We don't have any cards in our deck that I can think of that can get rid of this and get rid of this. Wait, do we board in Wrath of the Skies? We would need to ponder into both a land and a... we did bring in Wrath of the Skies. It's in the deck, but I don't think it's likely to get back. The other option is, let's say we find Teferi. We could play Teferi out and, yeah, but we're still going to get hit with that. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I'm not going to keep playing. Just brutal. We didn't find our force. Like, we did find a force eventually. I think we did everything we were supposed to do. I think this is just a really bad matchup. But I am totally willing to concede that, like, I'm not sure if I'm playing this deck correctly. All right, we're back for round 2 against Eldrazi, likely. They were playing Eldrazi a week ago, and they were playing 4 main deck Wastegate Battle Mages, which are pretty good against our Up the Beanstalk. We don't have any removal in this hand. Tamiyo is not the greatest against this. I kind of think we pitch this and try to find a plow hand. All right, this is better, slightly. I'm going to put Entreat back on the bottom. The great thing is, like, when you're mulliganing, there are almost always cards that you don't want to have in your hand in this deck, so it does mulligan a little bit better than most decks. Also, very high land count, very high blue count. I think we're playing like 17 initial blue sources, because the only non-blue cards in the deck are a basic plains, or actually 16, because we have a Savannah, a Plains, and 2 Wastelands out of our 20 lands. Okay, so Devourer of Destiny... So they've got 2 Devourers. Okay, so we know they're on Eldrazi, and we're about to see what they don't want out of their Eldrazi deck. This should tell us a lot about what we can expect. But Force Negation is absolutely going to be the pitch if we need to force something here, because Force Negation is pretty bad against their deck. Good news is we're not worried about Chalice. If they're playing Chalice, they weren't. Oh yeah, their Chalices are in the sideboard. They don't have any sideboard cards that are good against us. So we just have to beat their main deck plan of just putting a bunch of beaters into play. All right, they're exiling mana sources. So they probably have tons of mana, and they're just looking for good threats. Okay, even more mana sources. Reality Smasher. I haven't seen that in a hot minute. They open Wasteland, which is fine. Our deck has plenty of basics. Speaking of which, we could just lead on a basic and save our fetches for later. I don't think it's a good idea to bait them into wasting us. Well, I'll reserve that right. Because we could get the Surveil land and that could bait them into wasting our Surveil land. Okay, 3 mana. Glaring Fleshraker. I think even though I have the ability to remove this later, I'm just going to force it because who knows whether we're going to get chances to force cards later. And that is one card that I definitely don't want to deal with. I'm going to go ahead and get the Surveil land here because I'm fine if they waste us. Like, we have plenty of lands. That is a keep. All right. I can go get a basic plains if I need to and plow something. And I'm hoping that they waste us just to reduce their own mana base a little bit because they put so many, mana cards. But they've got 5 cards. If they have another Eldrazi Temple or something like that, we could be in trouble. I am going to go ahead and use this mana for island cycling. I'll just go ahead and get a Trop here. So now our opponent knows we're on Bant. They've got 4 mana available. No spells. I would love to find a wasteland here. All right, Force doesn't help us really at all. I'm going to play the island, and I'm just going to pass. I think we've got Devourer of Destiny in our future. They've got 2 of them in hand. Fortunately, there's nothing in our deck to exile, really. Like, yes, we do have... they can only exile colored permanents. Chalice, I can deal with Prismatic Ending. I'm not worried about that. All right, I'm going to take the draw. It'll probably be a land. No. Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and just get the plains here. And we're going to get rid of Chalice. I do think playing out this island is fine because if we bait them, wasting, that's not the end of the world. We really only use these green spells. We have 1 more green source left in our deck if they waste. Wow, double wasteland. Okay, I think they're likely going to waste here. They have 6 mana and they need 7 to cast the end guy. That's fine. I'm not going to get rid of this brainstorm here. I don't have anything to brainstorm back. Loam. Well, I am going to brainstorm now because this Loam is a perfect thing to put back if we don't find a green source. Unfortunately, Entreat is not good here. I'll put these 2 cards back. Now I'm just going to play out my land, and I'm going to ponder these away. I don't really need any of these. I'm just glad I have so many basics. Next turn I can play that out. But we're stuck on 3 lands, basically, since they drew 3 of their wastelands. Okay. Now we can tap for green. Which makes me kind of... Well, I didn't have the wasteland anyway, so I wasn't going to return anything too big. It would be nice to restock our hand, for sure. This is the big... let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't quite have enough for the big boy. They do have enough to exile 1 of our lands, which it looks like they're doing. So they'll probably go for a white source here, which is unfortunate. I definitely could have floated white there. Maybe I should have, just so I could hit the spawn itself. Ayavugan. Yeah, I don't think we're going to win this one. I hate to sound defeatist, but I'm trying to think. Like, they've already got a wasteland for our next land. They've got the ability to search their library now. We have 3 white sources left in our deck. So it's not like the end of the line. But just the ability to search their library. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this makes Eldrazi cheaper. I'm going to keep playing, and here's my dream. Like, they play out a bunch of stuff, and then we are able to top deck a Terminus, and then we can just fetch a Tundra and cast the Terminus. Wow, they're cycling through so they don't have a lot of cards in hand, which does give me hope that a Terminus can be pretty backbreaking here if we can find it. Okay, are they going to exile another land? Brutal. Yeah, they're going to hit one of our islands, and they're going to probably go get another wasteland here. So now we are facing real pressure. Yep, another wasteland. Okay, but I'm not gonna plow. I'm gonna hold tight because this is a one-shot land. The good news is if we get in a stalled out board state and I'm able to Terminus away their threats, they have 2 of the big guys in hand. So yeah, that sucks. But we probably still need a Terminus if we find it. Okay, Prismatic Ending. Okay, options. We could end one of these. I don't think that's a good play. I think we just take 6. The reason I don't think that's a good play is they would be able to waste both of our non-basic lands that we're going to fetch. It just sucks that this can get rid of non-basic lands. I mean, I've talked about that ad nauseum, but I think it's really not cool for Wizards to print cards that can target non-basic lands. I feel like there should be like a social contract with players. Like if you're disciplined and you play basics, your basics should stay on the table, unless they're playing like dedicated land destruction like Sinkhole that like nobody's played in like 15 years in Legacy because it's not worth it. I guess Pox is the sole holdout on that, but yeah. All right, and they're not even playing their big guys because they're waiting for something to exile with them, which I definitely understand and respect. So we're going to have runner terminuses here. So if we brainstorm now, we can set up a terminus. I'm trying to think of, like, can we afford to stand still and take 6 again? I think I'm gonna move here because this force is bad. I would love to find Life from the Loam. Okay, I did find Life from the Loam. All right, so I think what we do is we Life from the Loam and we use it to get back. Oh man, we're actually dead on board. No, we're not dead on board, but we'd have to like tap this to get the loam mana. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to loam back a plow, and I'm going to use a plow on that. Cards we don't care about. I don't think force is good enough. I don't think prismatic ending is where we want to be right now. So we'll go green, loam. And this will definitely incentivize them to go ahead and fire off those wastes now. Oh, that's right. Our freaking planes are in exile. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. I mean, okay, I'm not going to concede. I'm going to get the Trop, Hedge Maze, Strand. Okay. They could Kozilek's Command and remove these, but we know their hand is too... So now I have to go get Tundra, and I have to pay a life to do this. I'm just going to do this right now so I can have 6 through their turn. Yep. And now we're going to have the upkeep Lorien revealed because we know our top cards are not good. They're going to search. I think this game's over. I'm not going to keep playing. Because they can just do this every single turn and get card advantage. It's like a demonic tutor every turn for them. Yeah. I was hoping that we'd have a good Eldrazi matchup. Maybe we do. Maybe we just drew badly. We did take a disciplined mulligan, and it just didn't get us there. Cards that I think are good here. Harbinger. These two are coming in for sure. Consign to Memory is coming in for sure. Cards that are coming out. Forces are not the best. Force negation is really bad. Narset is really bad. They don't really draw cards. We can't take out our Jace because it's our win con. I think the other option is, yeah, we could go down on forces. I don't want to cut Loam because Loam can recoup a whole lot of, like, if they spend a lot of time trying to destroy our land, we can recoup that. Tamiyo is not at her strongest against this deck. Prismatic Ending does hit Chalice, but that's probably all it hits. Could hit Vexing Bauble, but I'm not concerned about that. Let's see, how many? We have 15 1-drops in our deck. I think going down to 2 Chalices is fine, considering that we're bringing in a Wrath. Oh wait, we are bringing in a Wrath, right? Yeah, we should. Okay, so that's yet another sweeper. And then maybe we could take out a Force. I don't want to take out Brain Surge, even though it's very costly, because it does help us set up our miracles. Yeah, let's do that. This is super expensive. I'm not sure that it's correct to keep this in here. It's not going to let me undo it. Okay, this does have the Harbinger. We can fetch basic. We do have a Force. We have Brainstorm. I'm inclined to think this is an Island Ponder keep. But it's not a Ponder keep. It's an Island Brainstorm keep. Yeah, I think we keep it. We're definitely at risk of not finding a land off this Brainstorm. But our best card in the entire matchup is Harbinger of the Seas. I definitely don't want to have to pitch that to Force. I also don't want to have to play on basics because I need the white resources. Okay, that is fine. I think I am going to hit the surveil here just because I want to look at as many lands as possible, or cards as possible in search of a land. I'm going to put that in the graveyard. Land, please. All right, we got the land. I think we can hold the Brainstorm as an emergency force. And then, once we've seen what they're doing, we can Brainstorm and we can get to Harbinger mana. That's fine. Hopefully they use it now. Wow, that's a lot of mana. Chalice is fine. We do have Wrath. I do need a Brainstorm now, though. Is it fine? Yeah, it's fine because we have Prismatic Ending. But I'm going to Brainstorm now. Double Beanstalk. I like this land for sure. Main problem is we're not going to have white mana for the rest of the game. So this Harbinger really has to go the distance. Like just beating face turn after turn. I think we do need to keep the force around. Okay, the other alternative is we don't go into Harbinger land quite yet. We Wrath and we take out their... So let's say hypothetically Harbinger does get played out next turn, which is looking likely. Assuming their remaining card is not Glaring Fleshraker, then they won't have any colored mana sources. Lotus Petal doesn't give them colored mana. Yeah, I think it's fine to put these Beanstalks that we're never going to be able to cast back. Let this resolve. I could have put back Wrath instead. I just have a perhaps like too much confidence in Harbinger to deliver us here. It's worth noting that we can win under Harbinger even if we're not attacking because Jace is our sole, like one of our 2 win cons, and it can be cast with exclusively blue mana. But it's also worth noting that if for some reason they have like a basic waste or a basic forest, then our game plan pretty quickly falls apart. They do have a waste here, they do have a forest, so they could draw to those. It would also, yeah. They're taking a long time to let this resolve. They might have gotten up. All right. So I'm going to fetch a Tundra here, just so I have good colors should my Harbinger get removed. Let's see, we draw a blue card, please. Actually, this does let us get a Plains. I'm going to go get Plains, and then I'll cast a Harbinger. So that was actually probably the best possible draw. All right. So we do not have a way to defend this. If they have like that, bounce back to hand type creature, Wastegate Battle Mage. They have another petal. This is looking like Wastegate. Once upon a time. Wow, they used a freaking petal for that? I guess they really are in desperation mode here. Thought Not Seer. Thought Not Seer does require colorless mana. Let me double check that. Yep. Which they cannot produce. Blue card for force. All right, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we go ahead and we attack. And then we have 2 options. One, we can Prismatic End the petal just to reduce the likelihood that they can get rid of our Harbinger. I think that's fine. So I'll just go 2 colors here. And this may seem like a really greedy play considering we have like Plow in our hand and stuff. But I do expect this to go all the way. This is like as good a win condition as our deck really gets. Okay, Cavern. So we just have to hit them 8 more times. Yeah, they are playing 3 Dismember in their sideboard. So that may be one of the cards that they're drawing to here. But I will force that in a heartbeat. Yeah, I don't think this Wrath of the Skies is very good in this matchup. I think it's more of like a anti-painter card. If they manage to get this out of play, the game's probably over. Look at the sheer volume of mana they have. All right, and Isle of Ugin, even though it's an island, it is legendary, so they did have to legend roll their island there. All right, 6 more swings after this. 6 more looks for a waste, a forest, 1 of 3. What's it called? 1 of 3 Dismembers. Here's a petal. I'm not going to force that. This is the... this is terrible. Yeah, I didn't think about the petal being able to open this up, but this does give them access to waste. They think we have to let this effect happen. I'm kind of tempted to waste the body, or force the body. We can't remove the body with Swords of Plowshares because we went after the previous petal. Yeah, I don't think forcing petal was correct there, but we're paying the price there. Yeah, there's the waste. So now they can immediately play another creature, but I think we have to. I think we have to force this. If they get rid of this, I will definitely be able to Terminus and get rid of like some of their Wrath and get rid of some of their stuff. So here they are going to play. What are they going to play? I don't think there's anything that costs just waste and colorless. All right. So we're going to get another swing in, but I'm not feeling nearly as good about this game now that they've unlocked at least casting one creature a turn. I will play this land out. Again, if this goes away, we do have a lot of things we can do. It's just that it going away means that our opponent has even more things they can do. They'll have a ridiculous amount of mana. Every turn we can get an attack in, reduces their ability to tap Tomb. Okay, now they found the forest too. Thought-Knot Seer is fine. We can't do anything about it. They can take a card from our hand. We've got a lot of redundant effects. They are winning the race technically. If they attack us, then we can attack back, but they are winning the race. So yeah, Harbinger it's hard to solo their deck. That's for sure. Had we drawn more force effects, which we did, to be fair, we boarded one of our Force of Wills out, I think. That might have been a mistake. Yeah, I think that was almost certainly a mistake because I'd much rather have a Force than a Wrath of the Skies here. Okay, Lorien Revealed is pretty good. I'm just going to do it. All right, we drew a bunch of 1-drops we can't cast because we decided to get rid of the petal instead of the plow. Yeah, that was a cast. Like, getting rid of that petal, I think, was a mistake. We should have used the Prismatic Ending on the Chalice. It lacks sufficient forethought about the sheer volume of things that could happen over 7 turns or whatever we were banking on hitting them. So if we lose this one, it's very much because of that decision, in my opinion. If we pull a Terminus, I'll probably use it just because I get a card off Thought-Knot, and putting the Harbinger back in my deck and giving me a full turn of stuff I can do is not the worst. Well, almost everything I can do costs 1 mana, so that wouldn't be a good call. All right, I am taking the damage, obviously. All right, and I should be able to attack them here. That is a good draw because now we have Hardcast Terminus. If they get rid of this. They do have Wasteland though. So I imagine they are going to waste one of my lands if they get rid of this. Fleshwrecker is terrifying, and that does block. They're down to 2 cards, but the fact that they have Eye of Ugin means they can just search. Yeah, I think I would probably Terminus here if I found one. I'm just going to play this land out. I'm going to pass. If they attack, I might have to trade. I guess I could have attacked there and forced the trade. Yeah, I'm gonna trade if they attack because I have to successfully prevent the damage. It might actually be smarter to block Thought-Knot Seer itself, just so I can prevent a little damage. Because I really don't have a choice. Next turn, I do have to Terminus. This is so scary because they can immediately get something and play something, I think. Yeah, I think actually I have to block here just because I can't risk them going off and burning me to death. They ended their turn? That is crazy. Okay, so yeah, really we just have Terminus, and I guess sadly I'll just cast it as like an extremely expensive removal spell here. They are going to be able to search their library at the end of the turn. Yeah, this game has not gone well. I'm not liking this deck at all. It feels super sclerotic. But decks similar to this, not with Beanstalk, but with other things, have been doing well at the Four Seasons. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think I'm just going to start by Terminusing and see what I draw. Let's get an island here. Terminus. We get a card. Prismatic Ending is probably the best card we can find in our deck. I can put Wrath of the Skies on. No, wait, they exiled Wrath of the Skies with Thought-Knot Seer. So I think what is likely to happen is they are likely to just go search their library for like a Glaring Fleshraker or something like that can likely burn me out. Or we get a card. A land would be welcome. That's pretty welcome. We can use that next turn if we survive that long. So we can hit the chalice and then we can plow a bunch of stuff that they play out. But it's going to be tough to catch up with them at this point. The one saving grace is that we have a lot of mana. I don't think they have any card that can just straight kill us, but Glaring Fleshraker can get pretty close. All right, they're going to search. Reality Smasher has haste. Yeah, we're dead. I didn't think about that. Yeah, Reality Smasher. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess maybe it's a one of, but like it's a powerful one of. So we still have not won a single game. That sucks. Let's keep going though. I mean, it could be that I'm just like getting my sea legs underneath me and like trying to figure out how to sail this ship, but it could be that the deck's a stinker. I play these decks intentionally just to change it up because a lot of people are like, oh, he certainly does love Nethergoyf. He plays a lot of Nethergoyf, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I can play stuff other than Nethergoyf, but it's just not as good. I mean, this format is really tight. You really have to be playing one of the top decks if you want to have a prayer, in my opinion. KN Knower. All right, we are up in round 3. We're 0-2, getting completely stomped against an unknown opponent. I don't think we keep this hand. This is a much more flexible hand. It doesn't have any interaction, but I'd much rather keep like Lorien Revealeds than redundant lands. So I'm going to keep this and I'll bottom the trop. We're not sure what we're pondering for. I think I just keep as is. They did mold a 6 here. We're on the play. It's not terrible to just island, get a ponder looking for a force. Like in the blind, I always assume my opponent's doing something degenerate because most people in MTGO leagues are. I mean, that's a force. These are great cards. Yeah, we'll take the force, and next turn we can take another ponder, I guess. All right, and we'll see what the matchup is, but I love being able to play off basics. So Lorien Reveals is going to be the pitch if they do something degenerate here. They could be on like Delver or something, which would be welcome. Yeah, Delver looking. Yeah, that's fine. I've got lots of answers to that. I'm not going to force that. All right, so we're drawing a Brainstorm. Or we're drawing Ponder, rather. Do we bait the Daze out of their hand just to slow them down? I don't really care about resolving this. I'm going to Ponder here and see if they Daze it. Okay, they didn't Daze. I mean, these are good cards. I think we just take the Brainstorm. I do want to get rid of their card. I think I just wait and I can end step Lorien Revealed. But this is like Daze protection in case they play some spell that we do need to force. I'm trying to think of what they would play that we would need to force here. A second DRC maybe would be too much. I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm supposed to do that because I do have Terminus in my deck. Okay, so just attacking as a 1/1. So cards that would be good here would be like... all right, so they're on the blue-black version. I probably would force... Would I force... I'm not going to force that. All right, Terminus is going to be a house here if we can find it. I'm going to go ahead and fetch my planes, and I'm just going to Lorien Cycle and try to get another island, I think. That's why we play basics, so we can play them without fear. Island. Then next turn, if we need to, we can get a trop. If we draw a green card. Drawing another land. I think I'm going to start by brainstorming here. These cards are pretty terrible. So I'm going to put back Sanctuary for sure. I'm going to put back Force Negation, which is bad against their deck. I'm going to play this out. I probably should have put the island back too, just because I want to be able to shuffle that away. We're not going to be able to cast Jace the Mind Sculptor until the coast is clear. Next turn, we will be able to Brain Surge around. I don't think they're playing Bowmasters. They're playing Nethergoyf in their deck. We may be able to Brain Surge around the Daze, is what I was going to say. If they play a Wasteland, I won't be able to fetch. Otherwise, I will. I'm going to keep Lorien Revealed in my hand just as something to pitch to force. Okay, no Wasteland here. Frog. we really need to start finding removal, but I'm not going to force this. I'm going to save my force to force my Terminus through. Okay, I think we are going to go get the Trop here. In fact, I could have gone ahead and gotten the Surveil Land, which would have been a better play. I'm not going to pretend that that was intentional. I just didn't think about the fact that we had a Surveil Land in our deck. Okay, I think I'm going to start with Ponder here. If we can set up a... So Plow does deal with Psychic Frog. And then we can just Lorien Revealed. The other option is to try to Teferi. I don't think that's correct. I think there's a high likelihood they have a Daze in their hand. Yeah, so I'm going to just take this. And then later I can decide whether I want to... I'll do this now. Okay, it worked. All right, we're keeping the Netherglyph super small, which I'm feeling good about. And we have Instep Lorien Revealed. Or if we think we can get away with it, we can get Teferi out. I don't think Teferi is a good card, though. It like barely does anything. It distracts our opponent for one turn. I think it's likely they find a Wasteland sooner or later. And we're going to need to Lorien Revealed to go get another green source. If we find Life from the Loam and Wasteland, that's like basically a really powerful lock against their deck. The good news is we're probably going to be able to go up cards with Brain Surge next turn. We're still only taking 3 here unless they have a way to get to Delirium. We could take as much as 6. Looks like we're just taking 3. Yeah, just a super slow start from Delver. We welcome these. While we furiously look for our 3 of Terminuses. Another Netherglyph is fine. It's worth noting that Terminus puts these in a place where they can't even come back. So strong. I'll just get a Tundra here. Yeah, nothing that I want to put back on top of my deck at this point. I'm going to assume that they do have a Daze in there somewhere. All right. We could waste them off of red. But then we're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a lot. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by... Yeah, I think I'm not going to waste them. I'm going to start by doing this. Brain Surge. I will force to protect this. Okay, this is great. This is solid. So I think we keep Tamiyo as a force. Loam does get us a bunch of cards back, which... Okay, yeah, we've got double force. I think we just force through this Terminus next turn, and it's going to be painful because we're going to take another crunch. But I do think that this is the way. So I will put... I'll do like this. And then I'm going to attempt to Loam just to be mana efficient. I'm totally fine if they counter this. I wouldn't be surprised if they daze it. I am worried about them getting Delirium. Okay, there's the Daze. They put a Strand into their graveyard. All right. Ponder would be an absolute beating if they have it here. Okay, we are super lucky. Like, this game is just turning out extremely fortuitous that they haven't gotten tons of damage. Having the Plow for the Frog was crucial. The fact that they didn't have a waste or anything, now they're really playing into the Terminus, which there's no way that they can stop this, I don't think. I did stack it correctly, right? Yes, I would like to use Terminus. Cast Terminus for his miracle. Click the card to cast it. Oh yeah. You can tell I haven't resolved a lot of miracles here. This is indeed a miracle. It's like a Christmas miracle. Okay, it just went through. I think we probably just play out Tamiyo here instead of Jace. Is that right? No, I think I'm going to play out... Yeah, I'm going to play out Tamiyo because I don't want to get my Jace dazed. Yeah, and then we'll pass. And next turn we can get Loam. I'll force pitch force if I need to stop something, but I'm not going to protect Tamiyo. I'm just going to get the Loam going. And yeah, I'm not going to protect her. Jace is the real thing I need to protect. They do have Bolt in their deck, so I'm going to immediately go up as soon as I get Jace into play. I think I'm just going to take an organic draw. I have to click this every single time. It's so annoying that they don't have a hotkey for that. Now, I feel like I can definitely do it. I seriously doubt they're playing main deck. What am I trying to say? I seriously doubt they're playing main deck Red Elemental Blast. Getting a 4-for-1 in 2024 just feels so invigorating. Okay, so this is going to be forced back. And now we're going to start the Fate Seal. And I'll look at their top card and I'll probably just bottom it unless it's a land. You can keep that. Okay. There's no reason for me to waste now. I can just waste next turn when I see what they're drawing. I am going to waste here. And then I can bring it back and I can waste again. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm just going to go green, blue. We're going to get our waste back and I'll waste them off. Well, let me see what their next card is first. Wasteland. No, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to try to get really fast to those hotkeys. Let's go ahead and get our lands back here. Wasteland, Strand, Misty. All right. And we're just going to keep Jace. This is the first time I've ever played Jace on MTGO. I haven't played Jace, I don't know, in like 15 years probably. Like since it was printed, I used to play it a lot at the local shop back when I was playing before I quit for a long time. Yeah, that's fine. I think I am going to go get another green source. I'll just get the Savannah and I will use this ability again. Because, I mean, wasting them off all their cards is a legit way. Oh, the Savannah went to the yard. Yeah. So I'll just plus here. Let's yes to the ability. I don't want Psychic Frog on top. I'm going to play this out and I'll pass. It's worth noting that at any point I can go get the card to put Terminus back on top if I do need to get rid of like something. Yeah, they just concede. All right, that's how we draw it up. That's how we win. Just sheer card advantage. Brain Surge was great. Brain Surge saw me so many good cards. I mean, you're looking at the top 4 cards. It's another way to stack the top of your deck. Really strong. Okay, so Carpet's coming in for sure. This card is redonkulous against them. And Hydroblasts are coming in. Those are great against them too. I think the weakest card against them, I mean, we loam locked them. I don't count on that happening. It's pretty good though. I think Teferi. I think Teferi is pretty bad. I also think they're likely to bring in Orcish Bowmasters here. We can definitely take out the Force of Negation. We need to make 2 more cuts. Okay, I think the cuts are Narset, and my reasoning is she's just like, she's really good against control decks like in the mirror. She's not like super strong against their deck that has just tons of threats that can attack in. We are going to keep all the forces in, and usually you don't keep those in against Delver, but it does combo with Up the Beanstalk, which our opponent has not yet seen that we're a Beanstalk deck. I don't see any other edits we want to make. I mean, Wrath is another way to interact with them. I think Wrath, well, yeah, they might bring in some sort of, is this good? I might bring it in game 3. All right, so they snap kept. I think we do keep this. No, I don't want to keep a Terminus hand, but it's got so much removal. My goodness, I'm not going to keep a 1-lander against Delver. Let's mull. Okay, rewarded. This is better, and we can put the Terminus that we actively don't want in our hand on the bottom. Now we don't have 1-mana removal like we used to, which is definitely a downside of this hand. So we're going to be disciplined. We're not going to force into Daze, but I will force a threat that we can potentially, Daze protect. That's fine. That's like the best card in their deck. So both games they've opened with the best card in their deck, but last time they didn't get to use it. This time they are immediately using it, immediately unlocking its power. They're going to see a lot of cards this turn. Yep. Delver on the draw is definitely, it feels really rough. And they've already got 3 card types. So if they can find like a Ponder, we're going to be taking huge chunks every turn. They get their card. I think I'm going to Island Ponder here. Just keep my options open. I would love to find a Plow for next turn. Hydroblast does it too. I mean, I'm not going to put this away for sure. I think it's great. Yeah, I'll just take the Hydroblast now. Tamiyo is great, but the plains is the least important thing. We'll draw both of these. And it's worth noting that my opponent graciously conceded last game when I was ahead with Jace, but they may not be so kind, so I do need to play quickly and be decisive. This is where getting the reps in. If you're like Force of Fill and you play Miracles like nonstop, then you've probably got like, months of practice. And also like playing on MTGO is a lot slower than playing this in paper. Okay. So we can go get our second blue source here if we need to. We can also just wait around for the plains, which I'm kind of down to do. I think I'm going to wait. Actually, I shouldn't wait because every card they put on the stack here is another look. Yeah, that was a bad play because they're getting extra value. I guess they could have done it in response. Now that they've tapped out, I'm definitely blasting this though. Because one thing I don't want to happen is for them to... Blue, cast, destroy target permanent. And I have to click the tiny checkbox. They won't let me click the line of text. It's like UX 101. Okay. So they get their brainstorm, they get their surveil, but I'm not going to be taking 3 next turn, and I've turned off their card selection engine. All right. I definitely do want to draw that plains off the top, and then I can go fetch a trop, and I can go up the beanstalk. I'll feel much better about that. And then they may waste my trop, but I'll already be ahead once this beanstalk resolves. Assuming it resolves. I'll probably force to get it in there. Yeah, this is fine. Glad they didn't find this last turn, or we would have taken a lot more damage. All right, they did shuffle. I would love for them to just like put a threat into play and not hold up, Pyroblast or something like that. Okay, this might be another Goyf. Another Goyf would be huge. Okay, they don't have another Goyf, but they may have Orcish Bowmasters here. So I'm going to draw the plains. I am going to go ahead and fetch, and I'm going to just assume that Orcish Bowmasters is a possibility here. We're going to grab the Savannah. Green. I guess it makes sense to do white here so we can attempt to cast Tamiyo. Not sure that that's the correct play. We don't have any white cards in our deck. If they let this resolve and then Bowmaster, that's great. If they Bowmaster with this on the stack, that's smarter. Okay, I'm going to force to protect this. I'm going to pitch Brainstorm and go into Oblivion. If they Tamiyo could wait. I think Tamiyo is a card draw engine. If they don't have a way to interact, it's going to be good. Okay, it's in. Now they could Bowmaster. Oh, they're just wasting now. That's not a good play, in my opinion. Should have waited and seen what they would draw. Okay, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and attempt to Tamiyo here. I know it's dazeable. All right, it's in. I don't think they have Fatal Pushes in their deck. I can't imagine, because we didn't show them Tamiyo last game. Maybe it was in our graveyard at one point, but we definitely didn't cast it. I lost track of everything we showed them with the Life in the Loam flips. It's fine. I'm amazed they have that in their deck. So that implies to me there might be a little bit of error in their deck. I'm happy to 1-for-1. And I'm glad that our Savannah got wasted and not our Trop, because this is going to get us closer to using Mystic Sanctuary to put a force on top. Yeah, this is fine. I will plow this for sure. I'm not going to let them hit me with it. All right, and now I have a choice of which to plow, but I still think the answer is probably another Goyf. Love to just draw like a second removal spell, but I wouldn't have the white mana to use it. Terminus. Yes, I would like to cast that and draw a card. Gee, wouldn't that be amazing? Okay, and now we are going to cast it. Such an insane rip. I mean, like, Andrea Miyaguchi says you shouldn't feel bad for your opponents, but like this is such, like, that was by far the best draw in my deck. I didn't even, it was so good that like I was even blind to the fact that that was a possibility, but I do put 3 of them into my deck for precisely this reason. And I drew another Terminus, okay, which isn't good, by the way, but it's not bad. Like I can brainstorm it back later. I was able to keep my force around, or my plow around. All right. If this is a threat, I will plow it. And they most likely will not be able to defend this, considering they have no mana. Yeah, I think it's deterministic that I can get rid of this. Yeah, I'm going to be a little greedy. I'm going to brainstorm first. Okay, Jace is great. I am going to go ahead and play out the Sanctuary tap just so I can Jace next turn. I'll put this on top, and then I'll put this. Yeah. Now I'll just plow now. And I'll pass. Wait, I can go ahead and Lorien cycle. No. I'll do that next turn so I can get Jace out around Daze. But I'm not going to be able to get Jace out around Blast. Blast is going to be a big problem in this deck because they have a lot of blasts. Okay. So this is actually kind of bad because I put my blast or I put my Terminus a card down. So I'm going to draw the land first. The other alternative is, of course, I Lorien Revealed. I get a land, and then I can Jace next turn, and I might get something that gets rid of this. Yeah, I'm going to Lorien Revealed here. Call that like sloppy, and I totally hear you if you think that's a sloppy play. I think I'm going to get my, I'll get a second white source. No, I don't really need a second white source. Yeah, I don't want the hedge maze. Let's see what I draw. If they have a Daze, they have a Daze. I do need to get the Psychic Frog out of play. I'm like basically accepting that I'm going to lose the game if they have a Daze here. If they don't have a Daze, we can keep playing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bounce it. Then next turn, I can start J-Storming and probably find a more permanent answer if they don't also have a Pyroblast. But they're going to have land plus Pyroblast if they want to be able to get rid of it. Okay, they're not playing anything interesting. They might have Bowmaster. Oh, another whiff. Yeah, that's fine. So I do have to get rid of that, but I think J-Storming is correct. Okay, they do have the Unholy Heat. All right, our best draw is definitely a Terminus or a fetch to go get the. I mean, that's not bad. I'll play this out, and I mean they could draw Force. I think it's fine if they force and they pitch their frog. I'm thinking it's probably more important to get rid of the frog than the Nethergoyf. Even though the Nethergoyf is going to be doing a lot of damage to me, the frog is what pulls them back into the game. Right, and I am going to go ahead and just prevent this. So the best draw in our deck is fetch land so we can get Lorien Reveal back on top of our deck. That's a good card. I'm not sure if they're playing Murktide, but that would be a scary card for them to have. Lorien Revealed. Brain Surge is freaking phenomenal. I'll take that, yes. Let's see if we can find a removal spell. We didn't. In fact, we didn't find much of anything. I'm going to put this back. Put this back. Play this out. They are going to get an attack in. And then what I'll do is I'll just get Terminus probably in step. I'm just going to hope they play a second card, but I'll still get Terminus because it does cantrip off Beanstalk. All right. They're drawing their card. Lorien Reveal draws 4 cards. I think Lorien Revealed is the get unless they play. If they play out a second threat, they were thinking about maybe playing out a Murktide there. Counterbalance is fine. All right, I'm just going to get the... I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to get the Terminus. So many clicks to do anything. This deck really is difficult to play on MTGO. Yes. And for whatever reason, sometimes it just doesn't let me use the yes hotkey. If they have Force, I have Hardcast Force. To my knowledge, they don't have any... they don't have any 6-drops in their deck, to my knowledge. They do have 5-drops, though, so they could potentially counter the Force. If they force... Right, we draw... Another Beanstalk would be insane. Lorien Reveal would be great. That Carpet doesn't really do anything at this point. I'm not even going to play it out. I'd rather have the ability to force next turn. Because I'll get a card for the Force even if they counter it. But it's not looking like we're going to have a game 3 here with the way that this deck is so click intensive and I'm so new to it that I'm playing like pretty slowly. Our opponent's playing fairly slowly too, but like I'm even slower than them. Okay, DRC. I'm just going to force this. And if they daze, they daze. I get a card for it. I'm making efficient use of my mana. They may be able to flip a force off the top of their deck. They don't. Looks like it's countered. I'm going to waste their Valk for sure. Oh, yeah, they did have a force. Okay, well, that sucks for me. They do have some card selection now. They've got a threat on the table. We know that force is their top card, but if they cast anything, they can change and manipulate their top card. That was another reason to stop the DRC is now with Brainstorm, counterbalance is like a combo with it. Okay, they are targeting my Jace. That's fine. They're going to see that I only have one win con left in my deck, but it's a win con that they're unlikely to be able to stop with counterbalance. So if they are able to stop my final win con, I've already used my Mystic Sanctuary. The game is over. Yeah, I don't know how Bosch and Roll and other players play this deck. This type of deck where you've got like 2 win cons. I did see Bosch and Roll do it. I think he did pretty badly, like I'm doing right now. All right. So let's see what we draw. Not what we wanted. I'm just going to waste the Trop or the Valk, and I'll pass. I'm just going to F6. Save time. All right. Yeah, these carpets don't do anything. I don't think they're even helpful for Entreat the Angels. I just want to be able to put them back should we get a Brainstorm, and should it not be countered by Counterbalance or the Force of Will that we know is in their hand. So we have to hope their last card is not a blue card. If it is, Entreat will get countered should we eventually find it. Okay, so this will get a Surveil Land and up our mana a little bit. Every card they draw is potentially a force effect. And again, if we draw Entreat, we just basically have to use it. We don't really have a choice. The actual casting cost of it is very high. Actually, I'll take that back. We could just not use it if we find it. But it's not going to matter. Oh, that's good. Yeah, we want that on top. Okay. Green. I'll just do blue here. Beanstalk. They have a Brainstorm. That could be bad. Wasteland. Okay, that's fine. All right, we're going to get a card here. Lorien Revealed would be great. Force is not great. We know that we can get Carpet down. I don't know that it's right to do it. I'm going to just hold up Force. I think it's extremely unlikely that we get to a situation where we can hard cast Force something, but I'm going to hope that we can get there. I am going to just play this game like it's our last game. And so I hope you won't be disappointed if I just scoop game 3, because there's no way we can win this quickly. They are bouncing that. I am just going to go ahead and draw 2 cards and hopefully stop this card from killing us. Later, it will be a threat that will be attacking. So the counterbalance trigger happens before the DRC. So we know Wasteland's on top. They can't get rid of it. So this is going to be countered unless they want a force out of their hand. They don't have a force in their hand, too. It's worth noting. Okay, another 1-drop that likely gets countered by... Okay, and now they get to Surveil. They're going to put the force away, or the Wasteland away, I would imagine. Their hand is Force of Will. We have very few turns left. So they did Surveil away the Wasteland. I'm going to F6 here. Right, Entreat. It is not Entreat. Okay, so I think the Brainstorm is the less important of the 2 cards to resolve. No, it's the more important. I'm going to test the waters with a Ponder. If they have a force, they could definitely do this or do something to manipulate the top of their deck. Flooded Strand, such a lucky card to for them to not have. Okay, so I'm going to take the Hydroblast. I'm going to take all these cards because I'm going to Brainstorm now. I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. If they force, I will Brainstorm on top of that force and try to find a force of my own. All right, we didn't find the force. We did find a Tamiyo that can block. Here's what I'm thinking. We put this back. We put this back. It's countered. They get the Surveil trigger. We'll see what they put on top. So we don't know what's on top. Here's what I'm thinking. Oh, actually, Carpet doesn't really do much here, does it? So I'm going to play this out. go ahead and fetch down to dead, basically. I'll get my last fetchable land. I'm going to go ahead and play this out, I guess. It doesn't matter. No, I can't Tamiyo and Leyline Revealed. Okay, so let's keep it together here. Leyline Revealed is not going to find us anything that we can use. We are going to take a hit no matter what. And if they have Bolt, we're dead. I think it's better to draw 5 cards while we suspect they're likely not able to do anything. And then we'll just play at 1 for the rest of the game, I guess. I don't know. Let's cast this. We'll draw 5 cards. Unless Force is their top card now. They have Ponder on top. They have a lot of ways they can find what they're looking for here. Prismatic Ending. If only we had sequenced that differently. I think that was the critical turn, and I think we screwed up. So we're going to take 3 here. We can Prismatic End, but they're a bolt away from killing us. Yep, Ponder. We have 19 cards left in our deck. But that, again, with Entreat the Angels, we basically win in like 2 turns. So it's not a big deal. We just have to make sure that we can resolve it. And I can start throwing Tamiyos out as chump blockers to buy myself a turn if absolutely necessary. But I do think hitting Counterbalance is the correct... Well, let's say we hit Counterbalance. Then we can resolve our Tamiyo. We'll just PE for 3 to get around Counterbalance. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. I'm assuming they don't have the card they need to kill us. Yeah, Tamiyo's ultimate isn't even good here, but her ability to regrow is relevant. Okay. Yes, I would like to do this. I'm going to go white, white, colorless, colorless, colorless. They can have a maximum of 1 days in hand. So this, we want to make it a 6-drop. That is 7, so we want to undo that. So we're going to Miracle here, and we're just going to get 4. White, white, blue, 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 green. We get some angels. We get some cards. So I did 6 instead of 7 in case they have Murktide on top. I don't think they have any 6-drops in their deck. Would love to find a Force of Will here. Did they reveal a card? They chose not to. All right. So here's what I think we do. I think we go ahead and we ponder, and we see if that gets countered. The other option is, of course, we could... Yeah, no, I want to ponder, and I want to find a plow. And if this gets countered, it's not the end of the world. Pyroblast. Okay, well, Pyroblast is essentially a dead card against our board. So I will not do anything. I'll just discard this land that we can't use. They're going to have to attack in, and their creature's going to die, and then we can start attacking them for a whole lot. They have 2 turns to survive. I think we might have pulled this off with our 2-win condition deck. I can't imagine doing like a giant tournament like this and playing games this long. Like my brain would just be mush. Last Eternal Weekend I was playing Domain Beanstalk with what's it called? And it was just absolutely brutal. They're paying cost for something. Okay, they're not doing anything. They have to attack. I will just block with 2 just in case of some sort of weird shenanigans. So we know that they have a Pyroblast in hand. I am going to try to brainstorm here. Oh, wait a second. Could they have... Yeah, if they have the card, Orcish Bowmasters, it's very bad for me. I'm going to try to put this into play just to see if I can get them to reveal their top card. Okay, they're not using it. I don't believe they have any haste creatures in their entire deck, so I'm just going to attack with everything. Minimize their options a little bit. Okay, I'll add blue, and I will attempt to wander, because I think if they had Bowmasters, they would have used it by now. Can we find a plow? We do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'll take all 3 of these. I need to take the plow first. Now I'll brainstorm. And now I have the ability to plow myself if They have, okay, they're not using it. Let's put this back, this back. I am going to go ahead and do this just to get rid of casting cost cards in their deck. I'll do that. I'm using every second they're giving me. I just want to make sure I don't die. I don't think I can die now because I have Force blue card and I have Plow. And they have 4 life. They would have to get rid of all my angels. And I don't believe they have a haste creature in their deck. So yeah, we just played extremely carefully. Like this is supreme carefulness. The only thing that could stop me now is my like network disconnecting or something like that. All right. That was, I'm going to have to take a break. My goodness, that was such a long game. But we are 1-2 now. So we beat Delver. Grixis Delver, pretty good build. They seem to have like all the right cards. Unholy Heat, much better than Bolt right now. I think Netherglyph is much better than Delver itself. They're playing, so I definitely wouldn't have kept in the Fatal Pushes if I were them. We did get very lucky in that they only drew like 1 red source the entire game. I think we just wasted it one time, yeah, we just wasted one time. So yeah, we'll go to game 3 in. All right, we're up in round 4 against likely Cephalid Breakfast or potentially Reanimator. They were playing Cephalid Breakfast as of like today, maybe. They got a 5-0 with it. So this is going to be a tough matchup. Combo is usually strong against control. I think this hand's fine. They are playing Nadu, of course, because you should. They are not playing like this super turbo. I like having Wasteland for a Cavern. They don't have. Oh, they do have Urza Saga. So we definitely think. I definitely think this is a keepable hand. I'm going to keep this. I know it's land heavy. We're on the play. They're unlikely to waste us. So what I'm probably going to do is just. It might be too passive to get our Surveillant, but I think that's fine. I'm going to do that and just maximize our. You know, I can't think of a situation where we do need to brainstorm. Okay, Shuko. Oh, I screwed up. I was supposed to surveil there. Sorry. Very sorry. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to get a Tundra here. Actually, I'll get a Trop. And then I will Ponder. And then I have the option of either keeping the Tundra. I mean, this Force does help us a lot if they're top card. And we can play it around days. They're playing 0 days? 0 days, huh? I didn't think that was how it was these days. Well, so it's like a slower, more like deliberate pace. I like Teferi. I like Tamiyo for sure. I think we just pitched Lorien Revealed, which is clearly like an excess card that we don't need. I could waste here, but I could get blown out. Actually, I think I am going to waste just to slow them down a little bit. Knowing, like, seeing that they don't seem to be playing days, at least not on their list from a few hours ago. Okay. This might be a surveil land here. It's a basic island. Okay. Island Ponder is fine. Cards that are scariest are definitely, do they play? Oh, they don't even play the Delighted Halfling. Right. They did not shuffle, so we could be in for a short game here. I'm going to Tamiyo here. And I'm just going to keep my... Do I want to flipper and start going upstairs? That does force them to use... Do they have Prismatic Ending? They have 1 Prismatic Ending in their deck. They do have 4 plows. So I think... I do want to go ahead and brainstorm here. So we definitely want the... These are all pretty good. I'll put back some lands. We don't want all these lands. So I'll shuffle away one of the lands when I draw it next turn. And this is going to give us the ability to regrow our removal. And I'll feel really good once we resolve a Teferi here. I would love for them to play a non-Cephalid. Okay, so I can potentially bounce this and then counter it on the way back down if I need to. But we're kind of the aggressor now that we have this online. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch... I'll get just another Tundra, I guess. I'm not expecting their, potentially 4-color deck to have anything that's going to screw us here. So I'll play this out. They are brainstorming in response, which is fine. Okay, it looks like it's resolving. We're going to immediately bounce this to hand just to take the pressure off. Now I will plus here, and I'm feeling very good having ending for next turn. So we really only have 1 point of interaction, but we're so close to ultimating. That's fine. I am glad I wasted this Vanna instead of waited till like turn 4 when, you know, Urza Saga is barely relevant here. They're thinking about going for the Cephalid Wizard, I think. I think I do counter this because this can bounce my Tamiyo. I think I'm going to force it, and then I can keep up hardcast force negation next turn. And I'm aware that like now they can potentially win, but I'm going to plus. So not only will I have hardcast force negation, I'll also have instant speed ending. Yeah. So we've got quite a bit of interaction here, and we're going to be able to draw half our deck, which should help us win the game. It's not guaranteed. There's the Nomads. Okay, there is the Illusionist. All right. Let's think about this for a second. Because we pitched the Force, we don't have the ability to stop what they're doing here. Let me think. Okay. Let's take a look at their deck list. So they don't have the card. They don't have what's it called, and they can't counter my force negation. So if they go for this, I can just counter the Dread Return. Then they can Memory's Journey. Yeah, I think we just have to let them do this. I'm trying to think of what they can do to win here. I'm just going to yield to these. Let them do it. All right, I'll yield to the Narcomoebas. We're going to get to see their deck. I am pretty sure that we can just force the... Because a lot of decks don't have force negation main deck, so they may just feel like they've got a window here. All right, I'm going to pop out their graveyard here so we can take a nice look. All right, so Memory's Journey is indeed in the list. I don't think Memory's Journey can save them here. It can give them 3 draw steps, but I don't think that's enough to win the game. Be Excellent wins the game? What happened? Why did they concede? They didn't even attempt to cast the spell. What were they looking for? Okay, let's try to figure out what happened here. If you don't mind me asking, why did you concede? Yeah, I have no idea why they conceded. They don't know what's in my hand, I don't believe. But we do see that they're playing... let's just take a look at their... So we don't know what the last 3 cards were, but we can assume that Cabal Therapy is not in their deck, which a lot of decks have started getting a better mana base and not playing Cabal Therapy. Obviously, if you're going to be playing Urza Saga, playing a 4-color deck is a tall order. But we see, like, everything I see checks out with what we have here. They have 2 Teferis, one of which we countered. Yeah, there's the other one. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's go to sideboarding. So Lavinia, obvious inclusion in my humble opinion. Ground Seal does stop their combo, and it does cantrip. Harbinger is pretty good against their deck. They're probably not going to expect it. Containment Priest stops their combo. It doesn't stop the Nadu half, though, and the Nadu half is the half we have to really worry about. Okay, what cards could we reasonably cut? I don't want to cut Force Negation because it was really clutch there. I don't want to cut Narset because it can help us dig. The challenge with this deck is there are like so few cards that you don't want to cut. I don't think Ground Seal is worth keeping in. It's literally the only thing it does is stops their their combo. A Harbinger is questionable. If we do this, then the only card we have to cut would probably be... Prismatic Ending does hit a lot of stuff, but it's sorcery speed, which kind of sucks. I want to keep the Loam for sure. I could take out lands. They're not going to interact with our lands. I'll take out an island. And Wrath is actually pretty good here. So I think I take out a Terminus. Maybe I take out 2 Terminuses. in favor of Wrath of the Skies because it hits a lot of stuff in their deck. Yeah, I'll do this. Notably, we didn't take out any interaction here. So we still have all our counters, all our removal. This is a pretty bad hand. I don't like Entreat at all, but we do have the ability to shuffle it away. We have Force, blue card, Prismatic Ending, Wasteland. I feel like we keep this just on the strength of that smorgasbord of interaction. Their deck is almost certainly not playing Harbinger of the Seas. So I think we can both just kind of like have like a treaties that we're not going to do that to each other. All right. One good hedge maze deserves another. I think it's fine. They don't seem to be playing Days. So, yeah, this is a graveyard. Next turn, I will Brainstorm, and I will fetch away or get the Entreat shuffled back into my deck where it belongs. Double Surveilling. They're keeping everything. I think they may have a really quick combo here. All right. I'm just going to play this out, and I'm going to wait and see what they do because I may really need like all my mana. As bad as I want to get this Entreat out, I don't want to lose the game. I will force a Nadu just because I don't want to give them a card. I think we Brainstorm here, and it's unlikely that we don't have a blue card, but if we hit a blue card, we just let it resolve, and then we end it. Okay, we did hit a blue card, so I will put back Entreat for sure. I think the second Prismatic Ending is probably unnecessary here. And I'm going to negate. This card is just way too scary, in my humble opinion. And if they force back, that's a force they won't have for later. That's fine. So now they have a Nadu, or they have a Teferi, but we are going to remove it. If they uptick, that's even better. They are downticking. That's fine. Right. I don't have a second Surveil land in my hand, so I'll just go to my upkeep and then I'll fetch. Let's go get a Tundra. I think it's worth... Oh, we'll see what we draw. Hopefully it's a blue card. Okay. Sweet relief. My goodness. All right, so I'm going to play this out. We're just going to go white, blue, green. We're going to give them their 2-for-1, but we do not leave Teferi on the table. It just completely shuts down like so much of what we need to do to stop them. All right, they're down to 4 cards. We're down to 4 cards, but we're going to have to use one of our cards to stop, or 2 of their cards to stop one of their cards. Do they have the Nadu? They do. It's a force. It sucks, but I really think it's necessary here. And then they may have the Nomads. They don't. They're not playing anyway. Okay. Set me free. I definitely want to find like a Life from Loam would be insane here. These are terrible. Okay, I'm going to put this back. I'm going to put this back. Play this out so we can fetch those away, and we're going to pass. Being on the draw against Breakfast, getting really bad cards here. If they have another Nadu, I'm going to cry. Oh, no. This one's going to resolve. All right, I'm going to just do it now. Bite the freaking bullet. Like, this is never going to, it's never going to get any better. Nomads. Okay. So no, next time they find a Nadu, we are dead. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to fetch here, and we're just going to hope to find something good. At this point, we kind of do need to keep Wasteland around to deal with their nonsense. We can put a Brainstorm on top. I think that's worth doing just because we have literally nothing going on. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. This is a powerful late game play, but right now we're so stalled out that I think just playing a Wasteland is not good enough. Okay, Tamiyo's fine. I am unfortunately going to have to put the Wasteland away just because I can't draw through that. That's like just too bad of a card. Like drawing lands at this point is just beyond the pale. All right, let's see if we get comboed here. They know we're hellbent. Okay, here's another Nadu, and I'm going to concede because I already know they have the other card. We're not going to play this out. Let's see what we would have drawn. Oh, we already knew what we were going to draw, but after that, yeah, just more lands. Yeah. All right. I mean, granted, we would have shuffled. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just trying to think like, okay. So, Carpet, not super useful. I mean, they're not attacking our mana. Mana was not the choke point there. Cards was. They do have a pretty low creature count. I'm almost thinking Terminus isn't worth playing. Wrath of the Skies does everything that Terminus does, but better. In the sense that It potentially hits like their constructs, their Shuko. Well, I guess Terminus hits the Shuko too. But it potentially hits the Saga itself. Maybe we don't take it out because we do need just more interaction. Oh, we could bring in the second Force Negation. I don't think that's correct. Yeah, like I think this deck usually wins through the Nadu, and then winning through Breakfast is just how it kind of like turbos. I'm going to take out the Windswept Heath, and I'm going to put the island back in just to increase my... it doesn't even matter. Actually, Windswept Heath is better here, because I seriously doubt we're going to get in a situation where we run out of fetchables. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fetchables, 9 fetches. Yeah, I think that's fine. Don't see anything else. Harbinger wouldn't have mattered there. They had planes. I don't think they're going to expect it, but I don't think it's that good. I'll just go with this. Wasteland is good against them, and we can waste lock them potentially. That is one way we can win. All right. We've got a full 15 minutes for game 3, which hopefully we won't need, but it wouldn't be the first time I played a 15-minute game with this deck. This seems super duper strong. This is precisely the kind of thing we want to keep. I'm going to open Tamiyo. And then next turn, if they deal with Tamiyo, I'll just Beanstalk. They still haven't seen Beanstalk. Beanstalk has been very shy this league. She has rarely reared her massive stalk. All right. This is Prismatic Ending. Yep. I think that's a one of in their deck, but I'll take it. I'd rather them do that than hit my Beanstalk. So we know that we're not going to get turn 2'd here because they don't have any permanents on the table. Well, I mean, they could potentially turn 2 if they had the Lotus Petal, but that is not a world I'm going to plan for. So I am going to go ahead and just get the stock on the table. All right, Entreat is not something we can use, but we can brainstorm it back. I mean, it's still a free card off the Beanstalk. I will hopefully draw a land and then Teferi next turn. That's fine. Teferi bouncing Urza Saga is a totally legit play if we draw a land. I do kind of feel bad going shields down though. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brainstorm, and then I'm gonna hope to Wrath is potentially really good. I think we keep it. I think the cards we put back are Entreat, and maybe Wrath is a later draw. I mean, let's think about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep Wrath around just in case they try to go the token route, and we can shuffle it back with the other brainstorm if we need to. But we're not going to have a fetch to shuffle it back because I'm going to go ahead and get Lavinia online right now. I'll just get Savannah for... No, there's not really any reason to get Savannah. I'd rather have Islands so I can use my my other card, whatever it's called, Mystic Sanctuary, to get something back later. They may force this. Okay. They may have a plow. I mean, I haven't shown them very many creatures at all, so I'm surprised I'm not surprised they had Prismatic Ending in, but I'd be surprised if they had plows in. Hopefully they go the construct route and I can blow it out with Wrath. But it is worth noting that if they do that, there is going to be a turn where I can't really do anything. It may make sense to just Wrath now. That is an insane pickup. Okay, so options. 1, we play Teferi. We bounce the Urza Saga. They create a construct. It's a 1/1. We don't care. Option 2, we Wrath now. I think we save the Wrath for a turn. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do this. Buy us some more time to amass mana. If we force, that's great because our forces cantrip us. Boom. That is okay. You have a 1/1. All right. I'm feeling pretty good, but I'm not going to attack. I'm going to hold back because I do want to get my Teferi up a little bit. Having Teferi in the game long term is a very strong thing to have going on. They don't have green mana yet. There's the Shuko. That's fine. This is a lot bigger. I think I let it kill Teferi. And I'll just Wrath everything away next turn, which will be glorious. I do have Force to protect my Wrath of the Skies. So Wrath for 1 will tap me out, but it should be quite strong here. I do feel kind of sad that I haven't drawn any lands or anything yet. That is something that is... But this should be really strong. So we're going to go for 1. Okay, and then we're going to use... Yeah, we use 1 energy. Now I can attack. We've got cantripping force up. We just have to turn this corner. All right, that can represent them potentially getting green. I'm going to go ahead and do this first. They may have force of negation. I think I just force this. I'm going to pitch a ponder. I get to draw a card. I drew another force. That's ridiculous. Okay, now we get another card. So that was like a great exchange. Another Beanstalk. Okay, we're not getting land, but we are getting damage in. And they can't currently win with the graveyard combo. And we have lots of forces up that they won't be, or we have force and we have double plow up in case they do get Nadu. All right, they're surveilling. Surveil a Narcomoeba, so they do get a free creature here, which is good. I don't have my Teferi anymore, so it's not that big of a deal. Another Narcomoeba, that's fine. I'm so low on mana, I'm going to go ahead and just plow this now because I want to be able to keep attacking and applying pressure. And I don't want to be able to double block my Lavinia. Lavinia is very important to me right now. Okay, I think we, once again, are going to try to spike a land. This is just like really strong against them. Land, please. Okay, we didn't get a land. I do think it's worth brainstorming for a land. That does kind of put me in the red zone a little bit. Let's go ahead and do it. This takes me off of blue. Okay, Brain Surge is good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back. I'm going to put this back. I can shuffle it away if I don't need it. I can play this out. Land for turn, and I'll attack. All right, 2 damage. We do have a Savannah we can fetch. We also have the ability to fetch a Surveil land and just put force on top of our deck, which is super duper strong. Okay, I think I'm just going to put the force on top. These are triple cantripping force of wills. Not bad. We're drawing wild here. Oh, no, we're not drawing wild. We're drawing the force that we put there. Sorry. All right, and I think we just chill. I think we're extremely likely to find a blue card off of Force of Will. If they don't give us anything to force, we can always Brain Surge. I'm just going to take it slow. I do think we pitch Brain Surge if Nomad is fine. We're going to be forcing the... Oh, no! No! All right, so we are going to go ahead and plow this now. Okay, Nadu resolves. Now we just have to force whatever would enable it. I'm going to instep Brain Surge just to get some more cards. Brain Surge is a pretty damn good card when your opponents don't have Orcish Bowmasters. This is insane. Okay, we've got lots of blue. We do need to find another way to remove Nadu, but I think I'll just probably Prismatic End it, sadly. I'm trying to think if... I don't have any more sweepers in my entire deck. Let me check my sideboard real quick. View sideboard. I think I took all the Terminuses out. I might have kept one in. I still have one Terminus in the deck. I don't have a way to shuffle it and get it now. Okay, so I think we just take the Ponder and we try to find a Plow, and then we Prismatic Ending if we can't find it. Tamiyo doesn't matter here. I can just beat them down with Lavinia. They're down to 2 cards. No, Lorien draws us like 6 cards. Seems good, but it's not good enough if they're going to win the following turn. So I'll just go like this. I'll shuffle away the Lorien Revealed. I'm interested in card quality, not card quantity right now. And the quality card is Plow. Actually, I could just... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So it's exiled. They reveal Ponder. Okay, that's a good card. I know I have blue cards on top. I think it's fine to just Ponder here and hope to find a another force. I mean, it's like... Yeah, I think next turn we just want to... I don't need this Beanstalk. I've got 34 cards on my deck. I do want to Lorien Revealed. So I'll just take the Lorien Revealed and we'll pass. And we'll hope that they don't have Nadu plus the combo. They can't get both of them through because they only have 1 Cavern of Souls. They might have a second Cavern of Souls in their deck, which would be a beating if they could get Nomad or whatever core as a creature type. I think it's fine to force this just because I draw 3 cards and it stops them from doing some card selection stuff. And we know one of those cards is going to be a force. And we know they can't force back. Well, they could hardcast a force back. I think we can just force this again. This might be greedy, but I'm almost certain that we're going to draw a card here. Narset is a good card. Jace is a good card. Let's go ahead and get card selection here. I don't want to draw my ETB tap land, so this gets it out of the way. Okay, they just conceded. We did it. We did the Beanstalk thing. That's what Beanstalk is all about. Just beanstalking and having a bunch of force. If we were to get Tamiyo and Flipper and just return a Force of Will to our hand each turn, I mean, that would be devastating as well. They did have 4 cards in hand because they got a card off Nadu, and but apparently they couldn't assemble the combo. So let's go into the final deciding match, and I'll see you for round 5, and we're fighting for the positive record with Bant, Tamiyo, Beanstalk. All right, and it looks like we're up against the big bad for the final one. This is going to be tough. Looks like they've got, they're just like more combo-y, which I think is even worse for us than the normal blue-black Reanimator. Okay, this is a terrible hand. We can mulligan this safely. We do want to get a force. It still doesn't have a force. They mulligan to 6. I'm going to wish them luck while we think about... I can't imagine a world in which this is sufficient against their deck. Let's take another look at their deck. Like, assuming they're playing this. So they're not playing Frog at all. They're just playing Tamiyo, which Tamiyo is the stronger of the two, in my humble opinion. I think Tamiyo is a better card than Frog. But I do think Frog in a blue-black deck makes sense, so I'm surprised they're not playing it. They got a ton of days, a ton of disruption. 4 days, 4 forces. The only ways they have to get cards in their graveyard are through Entomb and Careful Study. So those are the critical spells that we need to stop. Since they don't have Frog, if they're not playing Frog, then they don't have that key way of getting cards in the graveyard. That's surprising. It feels like way too few enablers, but they did 5-0 with this a few days ago. Because they almost certainly found an enabler, otherwise they wouldn't keep. I think we just need to find that, and I'm going to put this otherwise okay hand back. This is by far the best hand we've seen. It doesn't have a second blue source. I'm going to keep it on the strength of force, though. So we'll put Terminus back. We'll put Ending back. Yep, and we're probably going to be pitching a Tamiyo to a force to stop something that would put a fatty in their graveyard. They're not taking the explosive route here. Land, please. I don't deserve it, but better lucky than good. I would love for them to interact with this somehow. I really don't care about it that much. They don't have any red in their deck. It's just straight blue-black. So we're not worried about Magus effects. They don't even... Yeah. Oh, they do have the Psychic Frog on the side. Okay, I missed those. So they can become a less of a combo-y deck after this. Okay, blue-black. Dark Writ is fine. Do they have the Thoughtseize? The One Ring. No, thank you. Do you have a daze for this? Okay, that was a 2 for 2 since they ritualed it out. Go ahead and play this out, and I will Surveil in step. I'll just keep my mana up in case they somehow have a card that I can plow. That's fine. Ponder. Frog. Okay, so they are playing Frog. All right. And I think I'm just going to crack the clue now. I don't want Frog to get double dazed or something, or Plow to get double dazed. That would be embarrassing. So I'll get a Trop here, and we will crack the clue. I don't really even care about flipping Tamiyo. In these kind of long attrition type games, it's fine to just have a Howling Mind type effect. That's a good card. We just need a card to go with it, which we might rip. I think I want to play a land. I'm going to attack. I'm going to see what they discard here, and then I'll plow. If they jump. It doesn't look like they're jumping. Okay. So we can Prismatic End, and we do run the risk. I'm not in the mood for risk. I'm just going to plow it now. All right. And that was clean. Because this way, plowing, we can still draw the card off the clue. Wasteland. Interesting. Let's see if we can find another blue card. We do have a lot in our deck. Oh, so lucky. But yes, we must kill this. It is not an option, in my opinion. Do they have Daze as their last card? They don't. Wow. We saw 2 rings. The ring is just so scary. Okay, Brainstorm would be good. Any card that draws a card would be good. That's actually pretty bad because we can't do anything with it. I'm going to play it out in case we draw a Brainstorm later, so we can fetch it away and just to keep forward momentum. I think it might be worth just cracking the clue now, just in case we do draw something we can use. This is a terrible card against their deck. I'd be amazed if they have anything that this can hit other than maybe Frog and Tamiyo. They're down to 2 cards, and they have to have pretty low card quality in their deck. Like, their average card has to be way worse than mine. March of Wretched Sorrow. Yeah, that's fine. They just want to kill it. How does this work? Deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. Okay, so they gain some life there. I haven't surveilled yet. I'm going to surveil. And now we do have the ability to... Oh, that's a keeper. All right, this should help us pull ahead a little bit. All right, that'll be great next turn. That'll be insane next turn, I think. They may have ways of dealing with it, but we have lots of ways of dealing with their ways of dealing with it. I wouldn't be surprised if they just fire off a waste. If they have a third One Ring, I will be super duper sad boy. I'm going to pretend I have anything. I'm just going to let it go happen because I want to watch my clock. All right. Oh, they come... No, wait, I got a Plains. Never mind. I've got a Plains. I need to speak properly. I got a Plains. Let's do it. See ya. I got to follow up if you somehow are able to stop this, which I don't think you are. All right. I'll just pass. Unfortunately, they wasted me off my ability to put a land on top of my deck, so I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to crack that. All right. This Narset should be extremely good against them. All right. Wasteland is fine. I will play that out. I'm going to just play this out now. Blue, Narset. All right. They do have March of Wretched Sorrow, which is a card I've never seen before. Force is better than follow-up Narset. Force by itself doesn't do anything. I'm just going to take the Force. Next turn, I'll try to find a blue card that goes with it. What is this? They're flashing in Borrower. I unfortunately cannot punish that. They are going to be able to kill my Narset, which is a bummer. But she did pay for herself, and they ended up using their Borrower in like kind of a suboptimal way. I'm not worried about Borrower killing me because I can just remove it with Prismatic Ending. If I did, I should have kept this around because then I could have drawn a card when I removed the Borrower next turn. Because if you up the Beanstalk and you have 5 mana, see if I draw a land. I didn't. Well, I'm just gonna. I can let it hit me again. I'm gonna ponder because there's so many good things I could draw here. Like another Beanstalk would be insane. I mean, this does it, and this gives me a big Prismatic Ending later. I think I'd do it. So I'll take this for my Force, and then next turn I can do a big Prismatic Ending if I need to. They still don't have any fatties in their yard. I mean, the way they're constructed, I wouldn't be surprised if they were just on Doomsday or something. Okay, so we don't really need the plow. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go fetch. I'm going to get a... Do I have Lorien Revealed in my yard? I don't. I'll get a Tundra here. And then I think I just want to get... Do I want to put a Force on top? I think it's fine to put a Force on top at this point. Put them on notice that we are going to be very strong here. Force on top. And you may be able to hear my son playing piano in the background. Both of my kids love to tingle the ivory. All right, we get a card. Even if they counter this, we get a card. Okay, they concede. All right, that is nice of them to not make it play. Let's play it out because I was playing super slow and super careful against what seems to be a combo deck. It looks like their list has changed. They are playing main deck Frogs. They are playing Wasteland. Carpet could be good. Carpet can also be like a super awkward like, I mean, you saw in the which match it was Delver. I drew it like super late in the game, and it did like absolutely nothing. I think Force Negation comes in. Ground Seal seems good. I'm going to assume they are still playing the Reanimator deck, even though we didn't see reanimation effects. They could have switched to like Doomsday or something, and I'll know for next round. I don't think Terminus is strong here. Wrath of the Skies is not strong either. I didn't see any non-creature permanents to hit. I think Lavinia probably comes in. Like, they're almost certainly playing Force. But I'm not sure that... Oh, yeah, they're playing Dark Ritual, so we definitely want Lavinia. Lavinia is so good against Dark Ritual strategies. Okay. Other cards. The Planeswalkers are great. I don't want to go too low on Swords. I think we do want to cut some of our Prismatic Ending. It's pretty bad. In fact, we might just want to cut all of them. Yeah. I think that's good because we're never going to be able to hit their One Ring. Like, we just can't let their One Ring resolve, basically, or the game's over. It's not over, but it's like going to be over really quickly. They had basics. They don't seem to be playing anything that necessitates Loam. I think I could probably bring in a Consign. Consign stops triggers. It does stop the One Ring. And they did cast 2 One Rings there. I'm trying to think what else it could stop. It could stop like an Atraxa if they do Atraxa. I'll try 1 Consign. I'm not sure that that's correct. But based on what we saw, that's kind of my takeaway. You know, maybe a second Prismatic Ending, if they are going to have frogs, wouldn't be bad. Seems like a pretty serviceable hand. They didn't explode last game, but they did mull aggressively. I think this is a trap hand. I think we need to get a Force. This is a much better hand. Ground Seal shuts them out. We've got an answer to turn 2 One Ring. Yeah. So card that's going to go on the bottom is going to be probably the Tundra, just in case we need to play on basics. We can't really play on basics, can we? I don't want to put a Brainstorm back. Yeah, I'll put the Tundra back, and this gives us maximal options. I really don't know what they're playing. I've never seen a deck like this before with One Ring and Dark Ritual. All I know is it probably has the capability of doing very unfair things to us. All right, they mulled to 6 as well. 16 minutes on our clock to 21 on theirs. They lost connection to the game. All right, I'll let you know as soon as they're back. All right, they're going Underground Sea Ponder. Very respectable opening. And it's also a somewhat slower opening, which is good for us. I'm going to respect their ability to produce a turn 2 One Ring here with Dark Ritual, and I'm going to hold up Consign of Memory. I can absolutely fetch the Surveillant here. And now we have a Force Negation if we need to use it in addition to Consign. So I'll be looking to Surveil here if they don't cast anything. Okay, it doesn't look like they're casting anything. I'm going to go get the Surveillant. Cards we're looking for would be a 3rd land, probably. And Beanstalk is definitely what I'm in the market for. It's a good card. All right, so options. 1, we go ahead and we Ground Seal, draw a card. Not the most powerful play. Option 2, we keep a whole bunch of mana up, and we have the option, we have the ability to Brainstorm. We have the ability to Consign. I think they're going to be inclined to make plays because they don't know we're out of cards. They put like an Instep Bowmasters on the stack. We can Brainstorm in response. I am going to play a little more passively just because I don't want to find myself tapped out. And this is definitely an argument against playing Beanstalk, is that you often find yourself tapped out. Okay. They seem to be passing to our upkeep. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm here. Dangerous. I know. They could have Bowmasters. They don't have Bowmasters. Okay, so we definitely don't want this. We don't need this redundant Ground Seal either. I think it's a really good card, but I don't think we need it. I think what we need is land. Okay. I think it's highly likely that they waste us in our upkeep. I'm going to fetch. I'm going to get a Tundra. Okay. Why wouldn't they have wasted us there? Are they wasting us here? They are not. Okay. The only reason I think they wouldn't have wasted us there is if they have a One Ring that they want to be able to cast. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Brainstorm to try to find a land because we don't think they have Bowmasters. Yeah, I'll tap this. Brainstorm. And this keeps up a lot of options. Please find a land. Okay, we found lots of land, actually. This is great. So I think what we can do is we can put back the plow. And we can put back the tundra. And we can decide whether we want to fetch those away. But I am going to have tons of firepower if they attempt to cast a One Ring. Brainstorm's fine. They're going to be able to rearrange some cards in their hand if they desire. Interestingly, they are not fetching, so they like what they have. They liked all their cards. Interesting. What is going on? Well, they may be thinking the same thing about me. I'm going to keep the land on top. All right, we're going to Beanstalk. All right, it's in. I'm feeling so much better about this game now. Drew the plow. I should have shuffled because I don't want the plow. It might be good. I think I just passed with lots of action up. And they are heavily disincentivized from wasting here. Well, not really. I mean, cutting me off land is still cutting me off land. I would love to find a window for this ground seal. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm being too sheepish with casting this ground seal. But they just haven't put anything in the yard. They might put something in the yard here, and I might feel like a dum-dum. Oh, it's just a borrower. Yeah. But unless they put something in the yard, I'm not going to bother casting the ground seal. Because I will cast it next turn no matter what. This is fine. I'm going to float blue. Okay. They're going to pass the next step, which is fine. Black. Dark Ritual. Okay. One Ring. All right. So I am going to go ahead and do the consign first. Because this consign is very limited in what it can target. I am going to get another Trop, I guess. I'd like to get the Savannah, but I can't cast consign with Savannah. Let's see if this resolves. Dazing it. Unfortunate. I'm not going to pay for the daze. I am going to force here. This has to draw me a blue card in case they have a force. They force back. That's fine. My force is countered. But if I get a blue card, please. Oh, it's an Entreat. Oh, this is such a heartbreaker. No, we're not going to be able to do anything here. Yeah, it's resolving. They have their engine in place. We have no clock, no pressure. If we find a Brainstorm, we can... Oh, they can even untap it and draw an extra card. That's crazy. Yeah, they draw 2 extra cards. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I think we lost this game. We played very carefully. Like, you can see how playing the ground seal would have just opened us to even more abuse. So I will ground seal here just to try to find a Brainstorm. Yeah, because if we find a Brainstorm, we're in an okay place. Because we can put this on top and then we can get a lethal attack. I think I am going to go ahead and up the Beanstalk here. I could put a force on top. No, I can't because that's a Windswept Teeth. Yeah, that's a bummer. All right, let's go ahead and... They've got a lot of cards in their hand, that's for sure. This could draw me a blue card for force. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to be drawing a lot of cards. I think it's extremely unlikely we survive this volley. 8 cards in hand. Ponder's fine. We're going to counter, lights out type cards. That's the only thing we're going to target with our force. Entreat is so much mana that we could get 1 Angel, which I don't think is worth it. But we do have the ability to bring it back later. If we find another land, then we can Entreat for 2, and I think that might be a game-winning line. I think it's unlikely, but it's a possible game-winning line. They have milled their 1 Brazen Borrower. They might have a 2nd Brazen Borrower. Harbinger of the Seas does lock us out pretty well. I did not anticipate that. I mean, look at their mana base. It does lock them off a lot of their colors. Question is, can they kill us before the ring kills them? I'm going to attempt to cast a Jace. I don't think he's going to resolve. Whoa, Scoob. Let's just bounce this and force them to recast it. They're taking damage each turn, and they can't do anything with their graveyard. Yeah, I think choking them is maybe our best path forward in terms of just buying ourselves time. I don't think Jace plussing is going to do anything here. I'm amazed. I'm stunned that Jace even resolved. Yeah, here's the black mana that they need. This is the new One Ring. Shieldred. That is a bummer. So they are going to gain some life, but I am going to bounce Shieldred. One Ring, they're going to draw a bunch of cards. They gain a ton of life. I'm going to concede. I don't think we're going to be able to race this, and I want to make sure we have time for game 3. Okay, we learned quite a bit about their deck. We did not see anything that suggested they're playing Reanimation. They could be like a Doomsday deck, because like a lot of the patterns match Doomsday. Or it could just be like a One Ring deck. I mean, like I've never seen this deck before, and I've played a lot of Legacy. Okay, so I do kind of think Carpet is good here if they're going to bring in that card. I think Terminus is pretty bad. Like we didn't really see any reason to have it in there. Wrath of the Skies is pretty bad. Consign to Memory does get better now that we know that they're like really, really deep in on resolving One Ring. We could take out the Ground Seals. Again, like I could have just missed it, but in 2 games I've not seen a single Reanimation effect. All right, and if we're doing that, I think we take out Containment Priest and we do bring the Terminus back in. All right, so the Consign to Memory is really just like to hit. I'm trying to decide whether Loam might be good here. Loam is very clock intensive. They're playing a lot of basics. Hitting Minamo is not worth like loaming just to be able to hit that card. That card is like very marginal. I'm actually really impressed it's being played in Legacy because I don't think it's like a Legacy tier card. Yeah, I think we run it back with this. We can't cut our win conditions. Technically, we have like one more win condition now, Lavinia, but that's like a super duper slow win con. Obviously, Narset is the nuts against them if we can get it into play. We could cut an island since we're bringing the carpets. And then we could use that to bring in Consign number 3 or Wrath of the Skies. Wrath of the Skies doesn't hit One Ring. It just destroys. Maybe a Prismatic Ending, just since they have a few more creatures. Yeah, I guess we do this. Because Carpet is like kind of like half a land, is how I look at it. And it's insurance against their Harbinger if they try to Harbinger us. So we didn't even expect Harbinger was in their deck because their mana base was pretty... but I mean, they are a 2-color deck, so you can probably expect a 2-color blue deck to have Harbinger in the sideboard. So we will be slightly insulated against that with Carpet this time. But I am going to probably fetch my basic planes out a little earlier this game. Seems solid. I like the turn 1 Tamiyo. No, I don't like the Entreat, and I don't like the Mystic Sanctuary. I'm going to look in this. This is great. This has the most powerful card in our deck against them. We can put back the Jace. We've got access to good colors of mana. So I'm going to go ahead and open probably just Island Ponder here and try to set up land number 3 so we can get a Jace out or get an Narset out. And I think the best thing to find here would probably be a land and a Beanstalk. These are not bad cards by any means. I think we keep them. And I'll just put the Brainstorm in my hand because that's the one I'd most likely pitch. I am going to hang on to Brain Surge with the hope that it can draw us a lot of cards. Okay. Yeah, and they did not mulligan. So we might be able to bait a Daze by pondering here. That's fine. Play our land out and I'll pass. And now I might pitch Brain Surge instead of pitching Brainstorm. Our opponent is playing Discipline and they didn't do like an in-step Brainstorm just to use their mana efficiently. That is a trap I like to see my opponents fall into. Getting imperfect Brainstorm. Brainstorm being arguably like the most powerful card in the format. You don't want to waste it. So let's Brainstorm here and see if we can hit a fetch. We didn't hit a fetch. We hit a bunch of cards that we can't cast. This is pretty bad actually. I'm going to put the Terminus down 2. And I'm going to put the Carpet on top of that because I don't want that to get like taken away. Yeah, we're just going to have to chill for a few turns. Unfortunately, we're Brainstorm locked. But we do have Plow Up in case they have a Frog. We do have Force in case they have something scary. And we're hoping to resolve an Narset in like 3 turns. This is fine. This is the play of somebody who doesn't have a second land. But I'm not going to risk, losing our only interaction to stop it. We can hope that they don't get... Yeah, they did draw a card here. So they found a fetch. So they've effectively kind of broken their They can break their brainstorm or their days anytime. Just going to pass. We've got 2 more turns before we have to start discarding. We have a Terminus on top, so I would love for them to cast a creature this turn. Any creature. And I'll happily Terminus it away. But if they're brainstorming and fetching, it's quite possible that they're not setting up something like that. All right. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get a creature this turn, unfortunately. Cling to Dust in the graveyard. It's a good long game card. And it looks like we might be settling in for a long game. Just going to pass. We have to hope we find a fetch or some sort of land source. We find a fetch and we can get a green source. Like Carpet is going to be so strong. Okay. Green source, please. I will force to... Oh, this is so lucky. All right, let's do this. Let's get a Trop. Carpet. I will force to protect this. I'll pitch Brain Surge. Please let it resolve. You don't know how badly I need this. It's only 2 mana, but it's a huge deal to me. They can fetch Basic Swamp with this, and they're minimally exposing themselves, but it does make it so they're forcing here. Sadly, I have to force back. I think if I get Narset out, though, it's going to all be worth it. They may force again. Okay, it's in. That's great. And now we can go straight to... I think we... What do we want to do first? I think we want an Narset just in case. I'm going to use it to add blue. They could definitely flash out the Brazen Borrower here, but I can plow it if they do that. It's fine. They're getting the Brainstorm out of their hand. If they stop this, it's pretty bad for us because this is our best card in our deck against them. The good news is they don't really have anything to do with Carpet here. Yeah. Okay, they're going to try to stop it here. Spell Pierce stops it. Yeah, it's a good card. Yeah, they are kind of playing almost not even a combo deck. Just a straight up control deck with the way they're presenting. There's Minamo. If this is the One Ring, we're so screwed. This is the One Ring. Yeah, I mean, we tried our best, but we just got outplayed, I think. That Brainstorm lock hurt really bad. It slowed down our development quite a bit. They're drawing a card. The game is not over, but it feels over once the One Ring hits the table. We don't have any interaction for this at all. Okay, I am going to add some green mana here, and I'm going to go up. What the heck? Oh, because they have protection, we can't do that. Oh, that's so scary. All right, well, let's go ahead and try to go up the Beanstalk here. I'm going to play out a land, and then I'll go up the Beanstalk. Okay. Lavinia's pretty good, actually. I'm going to go ahead and try to play her. I don't think she's going to stick around, but I will play her. She could slow down some of what my opponent's trying to do here. I'll just get a Tundra. This is quite likely going to get dazed. She is a bit of a clock. Yeah, there's the days that I thought might work. I still think it would have been bad to just sit there and do nothing. Brainstorm unlocks our Terminus as a potential way to deal with permanents. They are going to be able to draw 5 cards this turn. So I'm not holding out much hope here. Yeah, I'm not even sure what we're drawing to. If we rip Entreat the Angels, that's not the worst, but it's not great. It'll create 2 Angels, and it won't even trigger, unfortunately. Jace doesn't really do anything here. If they're smart, they'll waste us here. We are going to get the... we're going to get the Carpet mana. 1, 2, 3. This is not an island. Just 2 mana. Yeah, it's not that much. Okay, they're drawing now. So they can go up to 9. I think it's extremely likely they have interaction here. I can draw 3 cards, but I think we have to entreat. So we entreat. They could have double days. They could have a force. We're going to get a card off Beanstalk. So we will add this, and we'll just add white, I guess. Oh, we don't actually have Entreat in our hand, do we? For some reason, I thought we had it in our hand. No, that was just a fever dream. Blue. White. Oh, let's do it like this. Blue. Blue. I think I will keep the planes untapped just in case they have like, yeah, I'll cast this. Again, I think it's likely they're going to counter this. Maybe they don't even care at this point because they're outscaling me by so many cards. I'm surprised they didn't waste me. I mean, that is mana, you know. Okay, Bowmasters maybe. Bowmasters is fine. I will plow the Bowmasters before the ability goes on the stack. Or I guess after the ability goes on the stack. They'll probably have days here. They've got 8 cards in hand. How can they not have a daze or a force? They're probably just deciding which of their free counter magic they want to use against me. Okay, and we are going to take a ton of damage from this Bowmaster. Oh, yeah, they stopped the actual Lorien reveal too. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, and then they stopped that. So yeah, we're just drawing 1 card, but we're taking a damage. Next turn we can. I think it's maybe worth hitting Minamo just because it represents like 4 cards next turn. At the same time, if we don't hit it, I'm just trying to envision a situation where they don't find what's her name. Yeah, I'll hit it. All right, next turn we have Hardcast Terminus, which will cantrip, but that's like literally the best we can do. And all we have going in our favor is the fact that they have a 1 ring out that's dealing damage to them, even as it draws them up to 11 cards. I'm not going to concede just for the content. Like I want you all to see this deck a little bit more because it is a cool deck. Like I've never seen this deck before. It's not like a deck that I would play because I'm just not like a Dark Ritual type person, and I don't particularly care for the 1 ring. Sorry, my son is coughing a little bit in the background. Okay, there's the Shieldred. Yep, and next turn we're going to attempt to Terminus, but it's not going to succeed, but we'll try. Okay, we're getting the spinner thing. Okay. They're wasting our green source. Now, we actually don't have Hardcast Terminus anymore. So, we're super duper dead. We're going to take 3 here, but then we're going to take another 2 when we draw. They did a very good job of like not having any blue sources. I guess they dazed and they just didn't play out the day. They didn't play out the land that they dazed with. All right, so options. I think we use this, and I'll just add white, I guess, and then I'll just go. I'm just playing this. I'm going through the motions. We're definitely dead, but we do need to put the Shieldred back, or we're dead next turn. There's no reason for them to let this resolve, but there's no reason for them to not let this resolve because they're so far ahead. Yeah, I'll just bounce this and I'll take a damage and the army will grow, but I will live a turn. Okay, and then we can hope that they screw up and somehow play a land and we have the ability to Terminus next turn. I don't think that's likely to happen. And even if we do Terminus, we're going to be doing it with like at most we'll have enough mana to daze them. Okay, they are getting a land here. No, it's another swamp. They have a second swamp. Okay. That door is closed to us now. Yeah. Any land and they can cast her again, and we'll take 4 here. Next turn we'll take lethal. Yeah, they should just recast her. They don't even need to use the 1 ring. All right, so I am. Did I already use my Surveillant? I didn't. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to try to manipulate my draw a little bit. I'm trying to think of what could possibly get us out of this other than another Terminus off the top, which I think we only have 1 Terminus in our deck right now. There's not any 1 card. Yeah. Let's just see what the top card is. I mean, I'm going to... It's been a very long league. A lot of thinking. I'm going to spare myself the trying to figure out what our outs are, that exercise. Especially because even if we do find something, yeah, that's not going to do it. Yeah. I mean, I guess if I knew their deck, if I'd seen this deck before, I'll definitely be looking out for it in the future. Had I seen this deck before, I would have kept some Terminuses in just on this contingency. So they're gaining a ton of life. Yep. Drawing a ton of cards. I don't think we can win from here, even if we did draw the Terminus that is in our sideboard. And before we draw, I'll just take a look at the sideboard and we'll see that we have 2 of our Terminuses in the side and 1 of them in our hand. And we have exactly enough mana to Terminus, but they have 12 cards in hand. There is no way in heck. Okay, so I'm going to just do it for the lulz. I'm going to use this, and like the idea that they don't have at least a daze in their 12 card hand is comical, but it's like a, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 thing. This Beanstalk actually kills us. No, it doesn't. No, it does kill us. It kills us with the Terminus on the stack, so we don't even get to see whether the Terminus was resolved. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So we're dead anyway. Yeah, that's a comical way of ending the series. Okay, let's take a look at the list. So we're dead. Yeah. And we don't even get to see whether they counter. Okay. So let's go to the postmortem. First of all, I think these strategies, like everybody will tell you, I think Bosch and Roll says this, like every legacy player will tell you, don't play a deck that has no like quick way to close the game once you get control. I think that's a fundamental problem with this deck. Like there was lots of situations where we did get control, but we didn't close. I do feel good about beating Breakfast. This deck, it does seem pretty strong against Delver. I mean, if you think about like the prismatic endings are great. Let's take a look here. So I think the biggest problem with this deck though is that it's got so much interaction, but it has defense at the cost of offense. Like, yes, we can go upstairs with Jace. Yes, we can entreat the angels. But it's going to be very late. You're going to have to completely lock down in the game. And I'm just thinking like a nightmare matchups like the initiative. Like what the heck is this deck going to do against the initiative? It's just going to die. That's what it's going to do. We actually did put up a decent fight against Eldrazi. I think actually we lost both of those games. So, yeah. I was happy that we did as well as we did, frankly. I did this because I get the vibe from the comments that you don't want to just see me play blue-black tempo all the time. If you're cool with just watching me play blue-black tempo all the time, like I would prefer to play this. I think it's a way better deck. I think it's my favorite deck right now because it can go fast and it can go slow, right? It's got these tricks. It's got this Emperor. It's got the Thoughtseize. It can it's well positioned against every deck in the meta. And Nethergoyf can get so big that it can close the game quickly if you need to. So yeah, that would be my assessment is don't play the deck that I was just playing unless you really love that style of gameplay. Maybe you play it in paper. On MTGO, it takes so much clock. Paper is like so much faster than MTGO. It's not even funny. You can be like, all right, upkeep, untap, draw. All right, I main one, I'll do this, pass. And it's like your turn can take like 15 seconds. But on MTGO, everything is going to take like, would you like to play first? You won the die roll. Okay, you didn't win the die roll. Would you like to play first? On your second game. And there's like so many notifications, and like every single time you want to like draw a card when you have a loam in your graveyard, it's like, yeah, it's just like, and I understand why they do that because they want to like programmatically enforce the rules, and then they don't have like if you play on Cockatrice or some of these other tools, you basically have to like gentleman's like agreement, like you're not gonna cheat like it, and they have to catch you. It's like playing paper, right? It's just like paper, but in paper in a tournament there'd be like a judge that you could call over, but even then there's still kind of like an honor system, like the he said she said thing can happen, so I would play this. I hope to never play this deck again, but people do like watching me play Beanstalk, even though I think it's kind of like a not a strong archetype right now. I watched Bosch and Roll play Beanstalk, and I think he also 2-3'd, and he's a much stronger player than I am. What are like bug mid range is not the greatest right now because frankly like Uro is just not as strong as just sticking these Nethergoyfs in play. Like, yeah, so I think that I'm just going to stick with playing this for the rest of the week. I'd like to play some Phyrexian Dreadnought as well. That is my second favorite deck to play right now. In terms of decks that I would love to play that just aren't competitive, like I'll play lots of stuff in paper because when you show up at like a nightly event, you're going to play a broad range of different people with different skill levels. But on an MTGO, like I would say like probably 80% of the people I play don't make really any major misplays, like obvious blunders. Like they're all playing very tight, and I consider myself like really lucky if I queue into somebody who like brainstorms turn one or who wastes during my turn or something like that, right? Like that generally that's not what you're encountering. You're encountering the same people over and over. The actual ecosystem. Let's see how many people are on MTGO like right now. Like I don't know. I'd have to like queue up to see, but there might be like 400 people playing Legacy. But like if you look at these people, like I spend basically all day on MTGO playing people like Magic Dads, and like I played Larry David the other day. I played UK a ton. I've played against INF. Easy winning marksman, great player. I think European, so you won't see me play people. Arkan, also European. A lot of the good players are like Japanese and stuff. So you're not necessarily going to see me play against a lot of these players, but you will see me playing against other good players who are in North America during the daytime when I usually record. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you kind of saw some of the weaknesses in the deck. Again, if you're like, the deck doesn't suck, you suck, please tell me. Like, I would love to be corrected on some of these plays I made. It's possible that, like, with enough reps, you can take a deck. Let me see if I can pull the deck back up. It's in here somewhere. Where is it? Tamiyo Beans. It is possible that with enough reps, maybe you can pilot this to victory. It takes a lot of patience, and frankly, like, going to a large tournament and playing this all day, like if you go to Eternal Weekend and you're playing like 9 rounds in one day with this deck, your brain is going to be mush. You're going to start to make little mistakes as the games progress. It's hard enough to play a deck like Blue-Black Tempo that I like to play, where games are usually lasting 9 or 10 turns, right? Once games are lasting like 20 turns on average, and I would say that's probably about how many turns like a lot of this deck lasts on average. It takes a long time to kill people with Jace, right? Your brain is going to get tired. You're going to get fatigued. You're going to make some tiny little punt, and it's going to cause like you to lose the entire match, right? Because you really cannot make errors when you're up against really skilled players. Like every single card matters. Every single mulligan decision, like you get to game 3 and you make a bad mulligan decision and you end up getting brainstorm locked or ponder locked like I did. I think I may have put back a land. I think I put back a land instead of putting back a brainstorm game 3, and that made all the difference. Had I kept that land, I might have been able to win that game. But that was just, I was tired after 5 rounds, and I felt like, oh, I'll find land, but I did side out one of my islands, so I was like less likely to find land there. I think it's very hard to play this type of deck well. I'm not saying that it's harder to play well than Tempo, because one of the beauties of this deck is like with Beanstalk, you draw so many cards it can mask like the slightly suboptimal plays. I do think that Tempo is harder to play than pure Control. If you put 2 really skilled like Blue-Red Delver players together, like let's say they're playing the exact same deck, and like they're probably going to have a 50-50 match win rate at the end of it. But if you put like somebody who's like, has 10,000 reps with Delver against somebody who has 1,000, like it might be like a 70-30, like experience makes a huge difference. So that would be my takeaway, is like, if you're going to play this deck, play it a whole lot, but don't think that you're like some galaxy brain just because you can pilot a control deck where you're potentially drawing like 20 cards a turn toward the end or something like that. Like the One Ring is another card I don't really like, because the card quantity is just so high, just like Nadu, that it takes away a lot of the skill. I don't like, I like value cards where it's like you get like a lot of little 2-for-1s throughout the game. But unfortunately, those aren't the cards that Wizards of the Coast has been printing. They've been printing the One Ring. They've been printing Nadu, cards that just like you run away with the game, and like all those tiny little decisions made throughout the game don't even really matter because your opponent happened to draw like their AB combo or something like that, right? Organically, or they happen to have Veil when you had like Double Force or something, and they were able to overpower your counter magic that you so diligently stockpiled in preparation for the big battle. So yeah, again, this is a hard deck to play. And I don't think I played it perfectly by any means, but I'd much rather get really good at playing Blue-Black Tempo or a similar Tempo deck than put in the time to get really good at this style of deck, because it's not fun to play against for sure. Like, it is no fun to play against a Miracles deck. It's misery, because you're just like, okay, do they have of course they have the counter magic, but like, I like the much more interactive, decks with like the Tempo mirrors are my favorite mirrors. And if you want to watch a good match, watch yesterday's video where I played against a player that was on the Blue-Black Reanimator deck, and it was like we both were like basically out of time by the end of the match. We were both like deliberating greatly over every single little decision, because every decision mattered so much in that match. I think those are the most interesting. I comments on specific cards. 3 Terminus, I don't think that it's correct to play 3 Terminus. My friend Randy from Dallas, up at Boardwalk Games on Thursday nights, if you're in Dallas, he played 2, and he played 1 on the side. I think it's probably better. He also played a Wrath on the side. I probably won't play Randy's list on the channel, even though I told him I probably would, just because it's very similar to this. It just has red and it plays Fourth Aerolingus. I think Fourth Aerolingus is a liability. Again, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll see me just running away with Bowmasters against somebody who took the Monarch or gave me the Monarch. I do think that the miracle cards of choice are going to be Terminus, which I do think is better than Supreme Verdict. I think it's a lot better. It's better by a big margin right now. And I think Entreat the Angels is the best finisher for this deck. It's just that, you never want to draw more than one. So that means you really just want this card very late in the game, like the final turns of the game. So you only want to play one, and it's a pain whenever you draw it because you have to shuffle it back in. It's not a good card if you're paying like the front half. You have to spend a fortune to get like even 2 or 3 Angels. But you can easily put it back with Jace, for example. And relying on these 2 win cons, it can work. We did win 2 of the matches, but it's really, really tedious to wait until you draw them. And if they happen to be toward the end of your deck, a lot of these decks have to play Endurance because they do get to like late game states where they just don't have enough cards in their deck to survive until they've won and things like that. That's another card. But if you're adding Endurance to your deck, suddenly you need more green mana, and you can't play this nice basic heavy mana base that we were able to play, right? So yeah, and there are lots of trade-offs. If you want to get red Elemental Blast, suddenly you're playing 4 color. If you want to get Bowmaster or Psychic Frog in, and I think the consensus, like Bosch and Rolls talked a lot about this, and I feel it intuitively, having played a lot of decks where you try to play Beanstalk and Psychic Frog in the deck together. I feel like you just do one or the other. You don't try to do them both. Some people, like Bob Buttons, have had success doing both, but I'm just not convinced that it's worth it. Like, really, I'm not convinced Beanstalk is worth it anymore. It's a card that we wanted to ban like a year ago. Everybody's like, they need to ban Beanstalk. It's unfair. It's unfun. And now, your engine card can be a creature that can also be your win con. Why have a separate engine card, right? That makes you splash into a color that's not very good for control, frankly. Like green, yes, Carpet is great. Yes, Ground Seal is great. But like realistically, if this deck could be pure blue-white, if they printed a white Beanstalk, there's no way in heck this deck would be playing green, right? So yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the deck. I hope you enjoyed. If you're a control mage and you take significant issue with something I said, please leave a comment. I would love to debate this with you. I don't know if debate's the right word, but basically just learn from you. And I do have a lot of friends who are dedicated, like only control, like pure control, no creature players, although even a lot of those are playing Tamiyo. That was one sad thing about this deck, is that like I think we got to Tamiyo Ultimate once, or we got close to Tamiyo Ultimate once. Tamiyo barely made an appearance here despite being a 4 of. But I do think she's a great addition to the deck, and I would not take her out. All right, that's it. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.